presentation of ABC Sports.
The Chicago Bears' quest of another NFL championship faces a familiar question as the 1989 season approaches. Who will be the starting quarterback? Jim McMahon, Mike Tomczak, or Jim Harbaugh? A healthy Jim McMahon is unquestionably the inspirational leader of the Bears, but his once strong right shoulder leaves doubts, and his yearly injuries have taken their toll. That worries the head Bear, Mike Ditka, and leaves him undecided on a possible starter. Tonight in preseason play against the Miami Dolphins, Ditka will open with Tomczak. The Miami Dolphins have no question as to who is their offensive leader. Dan Marino, in his 6 years, has personalized the NFL record book as the game's most prolific touchdown passer. But the Dolphins' rushing attack and a defense ranked near the bottom in 1988 leaves Don Shula with a major challenge in a return to winning ways.
ABC's NFL Monday Night Football preseason special. The Chicago Bears versus the Miami Dolphins. Brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Nissan. Built for the human race. By new Ektar film from Kodak. For advanced photographers, the genius is in the details. And by Radio Shack, the technology store. America's leader in consumer electronics.
Welcome to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, Florida on a very warm, wet evening. The Chicago Bears and the Miami Dolphins, and you can see the rain falling. It's been falling since late this afternoon. The fans are here, a slow arriving crowd. They expected towards 50,000 tonight, and they are late getting here. Hello again, everyone. We're delighted you're with us for our first of our 3 Monday night preseason games. Frank Gifford along with Dan Deerdorf. We welcome our colleague Al Michaels back. And quite frankly, Al, Terry Bradshaw was getting a little comfortable in that particular seat last week at the Hall of Fame game.
You guys had a game last week? Oh, we're so glad you're back. Grasping control already.
You do look tan and fit. Delighted to have you back, my man.
Good to be back.
And, of course, we're looking forward to tonight's game, the first of our 3 preseason telecasts. So for the Chicago Bears, well, they are probably looking at another divisional championship. I think they feel that way. Of course, last year they won their 5th consecutive one. For the Miami Dolphins, it's another tough story, however, as they came off a 6-10 season. Don Shula characterized last year as the toughest season he's ever had as a coach. And when you talk to him, I think you can believe that. Can they pull it together? Can they get it together? Well, the Chicago Bears, they have it together. We talked with Mike Ditka last night, and now, quite frankly, I think he feels that he has a better football team than win 12-4 last season.
I think the interesting thing about Chicago, Frank, is that this team is almost indestructible. 4 seasons ago, they won the Super Bowl, and they have done what every organization dreams about doing, and that is restructure and rebuild, but do it on the fly and keep winning, because here's a team that bears not a great resemblance to their Super Bowl championship team following the 1985 season. They've had a lot of injuries. They've had defections. They've had Mike Ditka's heart attack, and they just keep on winning. They have won 5 consecutive NFC Central Division crowns. A lot of people think they will really be tested by Minnesota this year, but the Bears, as Frank mentioned, think that they have better personnel than they have had over the past 2 seasons, especially when they get all of their draft choices in camp. So here's a team looking forward to a 6th consecutive division crown. and a shot at the Super Bowl. Quite in contrast to the Miami Dolphins, Dan, who, as Frank mentioned, when Don Shula says it's the most frustrating and disappointing season of his career, that encompasses 26 seasons. Will number 27 be any different for him?
Well, you have to bet with Don Shula because of that, but certainly when you stop to think why it was so frustrating, they hadn't had a losing season prior to that since 1976. That's how well things have been going down here in Miami. So the obvious question is, what do the Dolphins have to do to get better? Well, two things on each side of the ball. One, offensively, they must run the ball better. They had almost a 2-to-1 ratio last year of pass to run. That is not the ticket to the Super Bowl. They plan on getting better running the football. Their #1 draft choice, Sammy Smith, who really this entire training camp was built around running the football, isn't here. He has not yet signed a contract. That hurts. Defensively, their two inside linebackers aren't here because of contract problems, and their previous two #1 draft choices, John Bosa and Eric Kumaro, both are out with knee injuries. So the road back to winning here in Miami and for Don Shula, I believe, at least for the short term, is going to be bumpy.
And tonight, with rain falling at Joe Robbie Stadium, you wouldn't know it from that shot, but we had a downpour a couple of hours ago. Intermittent showers are forecast, as is the case in South Florida at this time of year. And in August, they had hoped to put 50,000 in here tonight, but the weather will probably hold it down to the low 40s. The Dolphins will be kicking off, and the Chicago Bears will receive. Some teams have already played 2 preseason games. For instance, the Washington Redskins, who are 2-0. But for these two teams, it's their preseason opener. Each will play 4 games, and then Chicago will open its regular season against Cincinnati. And the Dolphins will open against 3 AFC East opponents. In their opener, they'll meet the defending division champ Buffalo Bills at home. So here we go. Pete Stoyanovich, he's a rookie out of Indiana. Fuad Reveiz has a groin pull, and Reveiz has been hurt often over the past couple of seasons. So it's a golden opportunity for Stoyanovich, a low draft pick out of Indiana, to perhaps win a job. He'll do all of the kicking tonight. Mark Green and Marcus Paul, a couple of rookies, are back deep to receive for Chicago. And so for the Dolphins and the Bears, their preseason schedules underway. Marcus Paul at the 4-yard line, out past the 30, and a memorable beginning to his professional career as he takes it out to the 50-yard line. It is Brian Taylor. We mentioned Paul. It is that time of year where they're wearing double numbers. He's the other 36. Mike Tomczak is the quarterback, and he's the only one wearing 18 on the field as he tries to win the starting job for the Chicago Bears. And the rest of the offense, and they'll bear little resemblance to those we'll see later in the game, but for the moment, Anderson and Muster, the running backs. McKinnon and Morris are the wide receivers. Thornton is the tight end, and their offensive line is back intact. Jim Covert, who had a struggle last year, back injury, subpar season, healthy again on the left side. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. And they keep it on the ground with Anderson taking it out to the 47-yard line. Defensively for the Miami Dolphins, who normally line up in a 3-4, Turner, Soche, who played in the Pro Bowl last year, and Klein. Graff, Aarons, Batiste, and Green, and again Brown and Offerdahl are missing there. Langford, Judson, Williams had a great rookie season, and Oliver, who signed last week. He was drafted in the 1st round. He was their 2nd selection out of the University of Florida, starting at safety. 2nd and 6, the ball at the 47-yard line. Tomczak's first pass as he dumps it off to Muster. He breaks the tackle of Williams and takes it out to the 49-yard line. Hugh Green makes the tackle, and Brad Muster trying to win the starting job. And if he wins it, of course, he'll win it from Matt Suhey, who in effect is fighting for his professional life right now.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that the Bears want Muster to be the starting fullback. You don't invest the #1 draft choice in someone without expecting him to start, and that's what the Bears invested in Muster last year. And you're right about Matt Suhey, Frank. The venerable one right there has been such a big part of this Bear team, but he's at an age where every year it's a struggle to make the roster. 2nd and 10 from the 42-yard line. Tomczak, 1st pass as he dumps it off to Muster. He breaks the tackle of Williams and takes it out to the 49-yard line. And they keep it on the ground with Anderson and Muster, the running backs. McKinnon and Morris are the wide receivers. Thornton is the tight end, and their offensive line is back intact. Jim Covert, who had a struggle last year,
3rd and 3. Tomczak comes up out of the shotgun from the 49-yard line. And Tomczak's first pass is an errant throw intended for Ron Morris. And so the Dolphins hold defensively. Rick Rath put the pressure on Tomczak from the outside. And the Bears will have to kick. Maury Buford is a familiar face as the Bears punter, but you got to go back a couple of years.
This is Jeff Cross on the pressure here. And, of course, the Dolphins are hurting early in the year already. The #1 pick from 1987, John Boza, is out with a bad knee. Eric Kumaro, the #1 pick from a year ago, is also out with a sore knee over that right side. So we'll see a lot of Jeff Cross and Jackie Klein tonight.
For the last 2 years, Brian Wagner has kicked for Chicago, but he was signed by Cleveland. So Buford, the one-time and perhaps future Bear punter, is back. It's fumbled by Eric Starr, but he falls on it to retain possession at the 11-yard line. The Miami Dolphins take over, and there's a penalty marker down.
There's a flag down back up by the 50-yard line, back up at the line of scrimmage.
Tom Dooley, the referee.
Looks like the Bears think they're going to have to kick it over.
Ineligible member of the kicking team downfield, number 55, 4th down.
And because of the drop ball, the Dolphins wisely are going to make the Bears kick again.
John Roper was the man, number 55. Good-looking rookie linebacker out of Texas A&M. That's the type of penalty, though, that's not uncommon in preseason when you're trying to put a special team unit together, and especially early in preseason.
Roper, one of the players that we're really going to highlight tonight. We'd like to keep an eye on him. He's a player that may end up playing a lot and maybe even start for the Bears later this year. He's that good.
Buford's kick is a line drive angle kick, and Starr has trouble with this one, but he hasn't touched it. And interestingly, it rolls dead at the 11, which is where they would have been anyway. 45-yard punt for Buford. Not particularly artistic, but a 45-yard average would put you up among the league leaders.
Not particularly well done by Eric Starr back there either. When you're trying to earn a job, you bobble the first one, you get another shot, you misplay it, and you still have to settle at the 11-yard line, even though you got the break from the penalty.
So Dan Marino, who figures to play about a quarter. Stratford and Davenport start as the running backs. Banks and Duper the wideouts, and Edmonds the good-looking tight end. Their offensive line has gotten healthier over the past week. There was some question about 7 or 8 days ago as to whether Marino would play at all because the line was that banged up and Shula wasn't going to take a chance. Troy Stratford takes it out to the 14-yard line, where the refrigerator, William Perry, makes the tackle, and we'll detail what's been going on with him as we take a look at the defensive line. Smith, McMichael, Perry, and Dent. Hampton is still on the mend. Singletary in the middle, as good as ever, with Rivera and Pruitt flanking him. Morrissey is dinged, so he's not in there. Stinson and Jackson are the corners, with Dave Duerson and Sean Gale the safeties. 2nd down and 8. Miami from the 13-yard line. And Marino with that short drop and quick release and completes it to Banks for a 1st down out at the 26-yard line. The last time we saw Banks on a Monday night game here in Week 15 last year, he had a career game against Cleveland.
And this is exactly what Marino did in 1985 when the Bears were looking for that undefeated season. Take about a 2-step drop, 3-step drop, and just fire that shot, hit the slant, going, of course, to Duper and Clayton. Of course, Clayton not in camp, but that's what he did against them in 1985 and gave the Bears that one defeat.
Now Marino on 1st down comes up in the shotgun with Miami at the 26-yard line. Marino flanked by Davenport with Stratford in the slot to the left, and Marino looks that way and hits the open Stratford at the 35-yard line, and he takes it out to the 38. He had a good rookie season, did Stratford, and then last year he was hurt and was relegated to the 2nd unit, and right now he'd be fighting for a job, of course. There's minus Sammy Smith, their draft choice, but for the moment Stratford gets the start.
One of the best 4th-round draft picks ever to come along was Troy Stratford out of Boston College. He had 56 receptions last year, 48 as a rookie. They like to use him out of the backfield. They like to use anyone that's eligible out there. They just count on Marino in the pass at any spot on the field on any down.
First and 10, Miami from the 38. Marino to the outside, hits Duper, and Mark, after breaking a tackle, takes it out to the 47-yard line to the chance of Duper, Mickey Pruitt in on the tackle.
It becomes so frustrating to play against the Miami Dolphins. The blitz up the middle, you see Mike Singletary, number 50, the refrigerator on a loop, but yet no one's anywhere near Marino because of that fabulous release. And again, keep in mind, his offensive line has to get some credit as well. They set an NFL record last year. Only 7 quarterback traps the entire year. Unbelievable.
2nd and 1. Miami at the 47-yard line. Marino sends Stratford in motion and gives it to Davenport up the middle, and he has the first down and fumbles at the 46-yard line, but the play whistled dead. The umpire signaling the play is dead at the 47-yard line.
That nullified a Bear recovery, and Miami will maintain possession. And as we look down, we see the Bestie Jackson, the right cornerback for the Bears, not in there. He has a very sore hip. You're watching Maurice Douglas open the right side. He'll be very busy tonight. And Dan mentioned it at the top, but a couple of #1 draft picks are not here for the Bears. One of them, Donald Wolford, the holdout at cornerback. They'd love to have him in. 4 #1s and 3 of them not here tonight, Dan.
One barely. Oliver just made it.
Trace Armstrong, the other Bear, unsigned, the #1 pick. As Marino from the shotgun has plenty of time to set up, and then it's off the hands of Davenport and intercepted by Dave Duerson. And Duerson takes it back out to the 38-yard line where Galbraith makes the tackle. So Marino, the rifled arm Marino, as always, has it tipped and picked off by Duerson. A 19-yard run back by Dave, and Chicago will take over at the 37-yard line.
Keep in mind that it is raining and raining hard, so the hands are wet, the ball is wet, and that ball just skipped off Davenport's hands. And I guess that's what's fun about being a safety, when those balls come right to you like that and you're not even in on the play.
Hang around, you'll find something back there. Duerson has found a lot of them. Multiple Pro Bowls, consecutive Pro Bowls for the last 3 years.
Marino had completed his first 3. Now the interception. Bears have it for the 2nd time at the 37-yard line. Tomczak off the fake. Wide open is the tight end Thornton. And he takes it to the 37-yard line for a first down, where he's wrestled down by Lewis Oliver. And that's the only way you get Thornton down. You have to wrestle him down.
James Thornton, he of the magnificent biceps. Just a good-looking play action out of the I formation, and again, the good vision, the good alley, and that time Thornton just outrunning the linebacker on the play. It's a simple game. Dave Aarons attempting to keep up, had the coverage underneath, but a nice throw by Mike Tomczak. And throwing downfield, something Tomczak probably does better than any of the Bear quarterbacks.
At the 37-yard line with McKinnon in motion, Anderson behind blocking, picks up a hard-earned 3 yards to the 34-yard line, where T.J. Turner, the defensive left end, number 95, makes the tackle. Neil Anderson, and of course the biggest shoes to fill for Neil, the successor to Walter Payton, and coming off a fine year in 1988.
That looked like a 2-a-day pull by the offensive lineman. That's when your legs are gone. You've been going twice a day, and just slow developing. And they were swinging a little deep on it, and Anderson had to turn upfield, turned into a crowd. But
well, they say you're supposed to follow your blockers, but you always hope that your blockers are going somewhere.
They were running in glue, weren't they?
Oh, and there's an offside. Thornton on the left side gets a head start. Was he drawn off? Tough to be drawn off when you're on offense.
False start, 62 offense.
Bortz. Looks like Mark Bortz is going to get flagged for being first.
This is, Dan, as you well know, that time of year when you tell those legs to do something and they just don't cooperate.
And the coaches know that. They're the ones that have major legs out of cement. There's Mark Bortz, the left guard. Bortz, Covert, and Thornton all were across the line of scrimmage.
Chicago at the Miami 38-yard line. 7:18 to play. First quarter, no score. Opening preseason game for the Dolphins and the Bears. And Tomczak under pressure, wide open. Over the middle is Cap Boso, the other tight end. for a first down at the 12-yard line. Well, Emery Moorhead has retired. Thornton is number 1 on the depth chart and Boso number 2, and they both figured on the drive.
This was just a mirror of the shot you saw a moment ago to Thornton. Right over the linebackers and underneath the deep man, finding the hole, and Tomczak again, as Dan mentioned, able to go upfield with the ball. Has a good, strong arm. And he had to get, he's very confident he's going to be the starting quarterback.
And boy, did he have to get rid of it in a hurry, because Hugh Green came on the blitz and was in there and really forced Tomczak to throw it probably a half step before he wanted to, but still an accurate throw.
Chicago trying to cash in after the Duerson interception. First down at the 13 with McKinnon in motion. The up back is Muster, who gets to the 10-yard line. Last year's number 1 pick out of Stanford. And he can do a lot of things. He can catch the ball. He proved that at Stanford. He's got good speed. He can move well to the outside, and he's bulked up because they want him to play fullback, obviously.
Between his junior and senior year, and they plan to throw the ball to him a lot this year. He caught almost 140 passes at Stanford. It's a pretty good-sized horse coming out of the backfield. And with good hands.
At the 10-yard line, second down, 7.
Look how far off the ball the Dolphins are. They're a full yard away from the football defensively.
Toss to Anderson. He can't get the block. Fighting off the block was Rick Graff to make the play. The outside linebacker in his 3rd year out of Wisconsin. He's been inconsistent, but has looked pretty good in camp, according to all reports thus far, and trying to hold on to his outside linebacker spot.
Well, he was motivated a bit by their acquisition of E.J. Jr., and you can see the Dolphins are going to more of the flow and pursue type defense. When you play that far off the ball, you're not trying to penetrate, you're not trying to disrupt anything at the line of scrimmage. It's a pursuit game, and Graff did at that time beautifully, playing off the block and making the tackle. But he's got motivation. He's got a high-priced ball player in from out of town trying to take his job. E.J. Jr.
Shotgun, 3rd down and 8. Tomczak fires to the outside, complete, and a touchdown. Neil Anderson in for the score, and Chicago breaks on top. An 11-yard touchdown pass from Tomczak, leading a most impressive drive. The 2 passes to the tight ends, Thornton and Boso, capped off by the touchdown pass to Anderson here.
First preseason game, and Tomczak looks like he belongs out there. And, of course, finding the other setback out of the backfield. Anderson, fine receiver, 39 receptions a year ago. Anderson and Muster out of that backfield, both of them fine receivers.
But again, attacking the inside linebackers. And keep in mind that both of Miami's number 1 inside linebackers aren't here tonight. David Fry, that time inside, attempting to pursue. From behind, Tomczak. Neil Anderson, single coverage, beats his man. And nothing new. The Chicago Bears scoring a touchdown.
Once again, the last letter of the alphabet is the last word in sports cars. The new Z from Nissan.
You know what really burns me up? My feet. Athlete's foot kept flaring up. I get rid of it for a while, but it just flare up again. Finally went to the doctor. He told me to get Tinactin. It's what doctors and pharmacists recommend most. Tinactin even cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly like they tell you. It'll keep the fly from coming back.
Fast-acting Tinactin puts athlete's foot out for good.
Force equals mass times acceleration. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Power equals work divided by time equals the Reebok cross-training system equals the physics behind the physiques equals Reebok.
Mike Tomczak trying to win the starting job. And if he keeps performing as he did on that drive, he'll have the starting job. 2 passes to his tight ends and then 1 to Anderson. 3 of 3 on the drive. And there is Jim McMahon. He, Tomczak, and Harbaugh are all listed number 1 on the depth chart. We will see all of them tonight. We will see McMahon next.
But I think it's Mike Tomczak's job to lose.
Yep, I agree with you. Butler puts it in the air. And taking it at the goal line is Mark Logan. And he gets tripped up from behind by Taylor. Short of the 20-yard line.
Big kicking game so far for Brian Taylor, huh?
You bet. He makes the tackle after the good run back on the opening kickoff, and we'll be back.
It's just a pure and natural beer for you. So icy cold, so crisp, so clear for you. The king of beer, so fresh, so true for you. You got the taste, this bud's for you.
What's fair is fair. And frankly, Bryce Pfister is the fairest faucet of them all. Starting with the fabulous finishes they offer outside, right down to the feat of engineering that's inside. The quality is formidable, thanks to a heart of solid brass. And another fine feature is how affordable it is. So find yourself a Bryce Pfister, the fabulous faucet with a funny name.
The product. The vehicles. The testing grounds. The results. STP oil treatment is the edge.
The lights on these cars are running on battery power alone. And in the end, only one, the car with the new Die-Hard battery, our most powerful ever, is able to start. Great low prices every day, Die-Hard power. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
NFC powers collide when the Washington Redskins take on the Minnesota Vikings. It's an ABC Monday Night Football preseason special next week.
Defensive starters last year signed by other teams. Mike Richardson, the corner. Al Harris goes to Philadelphia. Otis Wilson, now a Raider. And so Chicago revamping the defense on the fly as Miami takes over and Davenport takes it out to the 22-yard line. It's sort of trite in a way. It's a cliche. The Bears go around saying whatever it takes, but that's been the case. It doesn't seem to matter. Remember in '85, Todd Bell, Al Harris, both holding out. Neither signed during the course of the season. Bears went on to the Super Bowl anyway.
Well, a lot of that is because of their quality depth. I don't know that there's a team in the league over the last 10 or 12 years that has drafted better than the Chicago Bears. The quality of their draft is why the quality of their roster allows them to fill in like that.
2nd and 6 from the 22-yard line. Banks over the middle for a first down as he takes it out to the 39-yard line. Sean Gale coming back from last year's neck injury, and you can see he's bulked up there to protect the area, makes the tackle.
Again, it's very effective, and again, good concentration to hold on to the football on the part of Banks. But sooner or later, that ball and the defender are going to arrive at the same time, and it does get your attention. But again, this is much what the Dolphins did to the Bears when they knocked them out of an undefeated season in 1985. Just a quick release, protect your quarterback, get those receivers on the slant end.
We saw Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator, from the 38-yard line. Marino on a roll. Chased by McMichael, throws to Banks. He makes another catch and takes it to the 50-yard line and has a first down. The linebacker, Ron Rivera, makes the tackle. And Marino enjoying a laugh with a Bear on the other sideline.
Good look at Freddie Banks. Not much of a move. The confusion really created by Bruce Hardy working underneath. And then Banks sitting back into the soft part of the zone. A complicated route run by the Miami Dolphins, but one that was extremely effective. Made that way by the rollout of Marino, not known for his slippery feet.
1st and 10 at the 50-yard line. On a delay, Stratford doesn't find much opening for him as Steve McMichael.
And as McMichael went down, he rolled off that tackle like he either got the wind knocked down or something. Tough to find a tougher human being playing in the National Football League than that guy, Steve McMichael.
And his running mate, Dan Hampton, as well.
You're right.
There's the refrigerator, number 72 out of the play, and there's McMichael. Recently just signed a contract, so probably hasn't been working that hard.
He rolled off of there like he was injured. A good look, though, before that, how the refrigerator really got moved out of the play.
2nd and 7 at the 47-yard line. Chicago ahead 7-0. Stratford cuts it back, and there's McMichael making the tackle at the 45-yard line.
Really slowed him down last play, huh?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't too happy. He had a little contract dispute. The Bears not too thrilled about the offer to Ray Childress of Houston. So McMichael was one of those who wanted his contract to give it another peek.
One of the Bear defensive linemen we are not seeing is Dan Hampton tonight. He's recovering from his 8th knee operation. And so if there's concern on the part of Mike Ditka, it is not only with age, it's concern with injury. They lost Dent last year. They lost Hampton for a while. They lost the refrigerator for a while.
Yeah, well, I'll take that group and win with it.
Oh, wouldn't you?
3rd and 4 out of the shotgun. The Bears rush 4. The Dolphins pick them up as always. And the pass in a lot of traffic is incomplete. Intended for Mark Duper. Covered by Douglas and Tate. So Marino tries to jam it in and can't get it there.
Really solid up front. We talked again about this offensive line. Let's look at Richard Dent. Broke his leg in the 14th week of the season last year. John Giesler rides him right to the inside. And look how they bunch the entire group together.
And good coverage downfield by Maurice Douglas and Dave Tate.
Reggie Roby to do the kicking now with 1:34 to go in a rapidly played first quarter. Bears on top 7-0. Roby is tall and he needed every inch of his frame and then gets off a very wobbly and very bad kick.
That barely got beyond the line of scrimmage. That'll be under 10 yards, I would assume.
And the Bears and Tom Zag get it back with Chicago leading 7-0.
Excuse me. Are those Bugle Boy jeans that you're wearing?
Oh, yes. They are Bugle Boy jeans.
Thank you.
Fluids and mineral fat. Energy for hard-working muscles. Nothing better.
For every man who wears Brute, there's a woman who loves what he smells like. Because there's something about Brute that's nice to be close to.
Honey, I was just thinking about you.
Brute, it smells like a man.
This year, 90 million people complained about the weather. 10 million complained about waiting in line. 60 million complained about their bosses. But according to J.D. Power's latest survey of new car owners, there were fewer complaints about the Nissan Maxima than any other car, which makes the Nissan Maxima the most trouble-free car sold in America, and leaves Maxima owners free to complain about more important things.
Look who's on Wednesday.
Shut the door there, please. You want to shut it from the other side, Dom?
Coach laterals to Wednesday. What a play.
That's my coach.
Sometimes the ball doesn't come back exactly where you'd like it. Reggie Roby wants it right on number 4. Gets it way high, and he'll tell you that's what caused him to shank this one severely off to the right. Ends up being only a 7-yard punt. A chance to pin Chicago deep back in their own territory. Instead, gives them the ball clear up at their own 37.
His drop, the way he handles that ball, you saw very high. He takes a little longer than an ordinary punter, and he needs a good snap.
Brian Timpson was the man who snapped it as Chicago takes over at the 37.
Tomczak, the quarterback, gives it to Muster. And he runs into big number 95, T.J. Turner, after a pickup of about 2. Turner, the left end on the 3-man defensive line, coming off a good season in '88.
If you're a defensive lineman getting ready to play the Chicago Bears, you know that it's nothing fancy. You don't have to worry about a lot of trick plays. You've just got to penetrate, stay at home, and don't give any ground. And the stay-at-home part is what T.J. Turner did very well on that play. He didn't pursue. He stayed, took care of his lane until he saw the ball was gone. Instead, the ball came right to him. He makes the play.
43 seconds to play in the quarter. 2nd and 7. Anderson looks for some blocking and knifes his way forward for a gain of about 2 to the 42-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and 5. Aarons and Graff in on the tackle. And we don't figure to see very much more of Neal Anderson tonight, as the first unit is in there for the moment.
I guess the people here in South Florida thought there was a real chance that they might be seeing a lot more of Neal Anderson. At the conclusion of last season, after the season was over, a lot of talk about whether or not there was going to be a trade between the Dolphins and the Chicago Bears involving Neal Anderson and the quarterback of the Dolphins, Dan Marino. More than just Neal Anderson, though, was going to come to Miami in that trade that was much speculated about.
The Wrigley building, I think, was the other part of the deal. 7-0 at the end of the period. Back we come after this message and a word from our ABC station.
When does a good quarterback make a great receiver? When someone who's been drinking passes him their car keys. Nice pass. If you've been drinking, pass your car keys to someone who hasn't.
Know when to say when. A message from Anheuser-Busch.
Road Handler Treadlocks. Test them for 1,000 miles. If you don't agree they're the toughest tires you've ever owned, Sears will buy them back. Great low prices every day. Road Handler Tough. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
Apple, lemon, blueberry, boysenberry, rhubarb, cherry.
What was one before cherry?
Rhubarb. Rhubarb.
It's a plant. What's a rhubarb?
A vegetable. It's about yay long.
We're out of rhubarb.
The 1990 Geo Prism is so well built, there are only 4 parts its bumper-to-bumper plus 3-year, 50,000-mile warranty doesn't cover. And those 4 parts come with their own warranty. Geo. And here's a special Geo Prism offer. 2.9% GMAC financing or $800 cash back. Plus, if Geo's your first new car, you can get $600 toward your down payment with GMAC financing at select Chevrolet dealers now.
I'm Mark Stevens. We'll hear from Phil Simms after the game.
Brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement.
And back we come to Miami. Al Michaels with Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf start the second quarter. Chicago with the ball. Bears lead 7-0. They have it at their own 42-yard line. And it's 3rd down and 5. Mike Tomczak out of the shotgun. He sends Gentry in motion. And then the play whistled dead with a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. Soche and Graff both jumping. Tom Dooley is the referee. That call made by Jim Quirk, the line judge.
Start offense. Third down.
Here's a look at the Chicago Bears and their superb offensive line, which continues to grow older. And while these guys right now are basically in the primes of their life, Keith Van Horn, the oldest at 31, one of the concerns of the Chicago Bears is finding quality backups, guys that you've got to blend in over a period of time. But this is as good a group, especially running the football, as there has been in this league in a long, long time. They need 2 things. They need a healthy Jimbo Covert at left tackle more than anything else, and they need Jay Hilgenberg in the middle to stay healthy as he has.
3rd and 10. Tomczak, after the pump fake, hits Anderson. Great move by Anderson, and he's finally wrestled down by Langford at the 41-yard line. 23-yard pickup. That move was put on Louis Oliver, and it was a beauty. Louis Oliver, of course, just signed the #1 draft pick out of Florida. And watch this. Anderson with the quick move. Tomczak, the little dink out to Anderson. Look at that one. Just left him hanging there. So Louis Oliver, who came into camp on Wednesday, gets initiated rather quickly. He'll be around for a while. Good, tough hitter. All-American from Florida. Chicago at the Miami 40-yard line. Tomczak over the middle, and Tomczak at this point could hardly have scripted this any better. James Thornton making the catch. Dan, I agree with what you said earlier. I think if anything, Ditka, he won't say this, but I think he's looking for a reason to give Tomczak the job.
Let's go back to the previous play, and here is Neal Anderson, and boy, that's a nice change of direction. Oliver was in the air and had severely overcommitted, but Neal Anderson does what you have to do anymore in the National Football League, and that's be more than one-dimensional. You can't just run the football, and Neal Anderson can certainly play a big part in the passing game. 2nd down and 3 at the 33-yard line. And movement in the backfield from Thomas Sanders, and that precipitates the flag. Well, that's not necessarily a penalty if he can get set and remain set for an entire second before the snap of the football. Now, flag is thrown, so the officials may be saying that he didn't get set for an entire second before the snap. Oh, and they're going to throw this one against the Dolphins. A back can move out of his stance like that if he resets himself and is stationary before the snap of the football.
There's Thomas right there. Now he gets set the full second. As you can see, the Dolphins have come across the line of scrimmage, and they're going to mark it off.
See, that is really nothing more than a back being in motion. It's no more than if he shifted position from fullback to halfback or went from halfback up into the slot. He reset himself, got down, and was down at the snap of the football.
It's not out of the playbook, though. That's an improvisational.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, it's a smart play by Thomas, by Sanders, realizing he made a mistake and getting back down.
First and 10, Chicago at the 28-yard line. Sanders and Suey are the running backs with Sanders in motion. Fake to Suey. Everybody goes out into the pattern. Tomczak throwing for a wide open Gentry. Touchdown.
Boy, the Dolphins are acting like they've never seen a play-action pass before. No rush on the quarterback, no coverage on the receiver.
They bought everything on that one. There is Gentry. Great speed, not all that big in size, but as a big heart. He knew he was wide open, put that hand up to make sure Tomczak had him, and Tomczak had him all the way. Flew by Hugh Green on the way down.
Well, Green only has him for a certain way. That's his zone coverage, and Hugh Green, I can't imagine when they would put Green out and lock him up one-on-one with a wide receiver. That's an unsound defense. Someone in the secondary fell asleep.
Butler with his second extra point. And so with 13:28 to play in the first half, the Chicago Bears have mounted 2 impressive drives and lead it by a score of 14-0.
The play-action fake, and look at that, Frank. No one anywhere near it.
No one near Tomczak either, and again, that's been the problem with the Dolphins over the past few years. No pressure whatsoever on the passer.
When you buy a Supercolor TV antenna from Radio Shack for just $24.88, you'll get terrific reception instead of interception. It's easy to install, and the Supercolor computer-designed antenna gives you pictures and sound so real.
Hey, Starbuck, what do we do now?
That's right, 16-wide post on 1.
It could make all the difference in the game.
Come on.
There's a man open. And touchdown!
The Supercolor TV antenna, just $24.88, only at Radio Shack, the technology store.
Starbuck called the perfect play.
I've made up my mind. I'm gonna do it. Why shouldn't I? I'm the one who has to look at myself in the mirror every morning. So before I lose another hair, I'm going to the doctor. I know doctors have treatment programs that are proven to work. More guys are trying them every day. I'm not bad now, but I wouldn't mind looking better.
Your doctor can really do something about hair loss. So see your doctor, or call this toll-free number.
Can you positively identify these characters? Look in your August 20th newspaper and find out how you can win $10,000 in the Duracell Toy Sweepstakes. Duracell. You can't top the copper top.
Don't take chances with your brake repair.
Megan, watch your step.
Trust your brakes to Midas, where the work is done by trained experts. And your brake shoes and pads are guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
The cold, the wind, the danger. An adventure never attempted until now. Transantarctica, Sunday night on ABC.
Tom Olivadotti, that's the way he ended last season, with that sort of look on his face. And he's seen this act before, and so has Don Shula, and they don't like it one bit. The kick is fielded up at the 7-yard line by Eric Starr. And he gets bounced down at the 25-yard line, and the Dolphins will take over there. Meanwhile, this is the first of 3 Monday night preseason games. Will be at the Metrodome in Minneapolis next Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. The Washington Redskins, who are already 2-0 in preseason, against the Minnesota Vikings, who won their preseason opener over the weekend in Memphis as they defeated Kansas City 23-13.
The Redskins with Riggs in there in that backfield, they will be a different football team this year. Ernest Biner as well.
Brent Pease is the new quarterback for Miami at the 25-yard line, fighting for a job. And the handoff goes to Mark Logan, who's also fighting for a job, and he fights his way out to the 44-yard line. A first down on a 19-yard pickup.
And that protected Cincinnati Bengal is Logan. They want to take a good look at him tonight as Don Shula is going to look at a lot of youngsters this evening. Breaking it to the outside. Good move there. Getting away from Stinson, who is fighting for a starting job over the left cornerback for the Bears. Stinson, 5'9", 152-pounder. Spot that I think the Bears plan on Donnell Wolford, the holdout #1 draft pick from Clemson, to take over.
So the first unit is out of there at the 44-yard line. Pease hands the ball off to Tom Brown out of the University of Pittsburgh, another guy that Shula is looking at tonight. Now, as far as Pease is concerned, he's really got a tough hurdle. You know, forget about starting for the Dolphins. That's Marino, obviously. They signed Cliff Stout as the probable backup. We'll see him later, and they're taking a look at Pease, and there is Stout. We'll see him in the second half.
And not only that, but Pease has the second offensive line to work with. Cliff Stout told me before the ball game that he gets the #1 line in the third quarter. So Pease definitely trying to work uphill.
From the 46-yard line, Pease on 2nd and 8. Throws, and it's dropped at the 46-yard line, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Mark Logan on the low throw. Pease out of the University of Montana, back up with the Oilers the last 2 seasons. A lot of movement this year, more so than in past years, of course, because of Plan B. You were able to protect a certain number of players on your roster during the offseason, and teams could go out and sign the others, the unprotected players. 229 players moved in that category. Interestingly, none to Chicago.
Boy, did it shake up the economics of this game, too.
Also,
they've got big raises when they left.
Out of the shotgun, the inside handoff on 3rd and 8 to Ron Davenport, and Mike Singletary reads it perfectly.
Boy, that's unusual. Let's take a look at the premier middle linebacker in football right now, Mike Singletary, making his reads. It looks so easy, but there are a myriad of holes that a middle linebacker can cut up into to take that proper angle to the ball carrier. And it's that decision that a lot of them can't make right. And that time Mike Singletary just does it and makes it look so easy, Frank.
You're going to make a videotape on how to. That would be in it. This time, Tinchin snap to Roby is a good one. There's a flag down as Waddle fields at the 10 and comes back to the 15-yard line, and there are 2 flags on the play.
So Dooley will sort things out with exactly 11 minutes to play in the first half. And Ditka's Bears on top 14-0.
We have 12 men on the field on the defense.
And again, not an uncommon call in preseason.
Get away with it. It works pretty well.
Yeah. Mike Ditka.
Tom Dooley.
12 men on the field on defense. Penalty is declined. Timeout.
Get us another close-up. Mike Ditka. 11 minutes to go. First half in Miami.
Pontiac's excitement countdown is adding up. Count on getting your share of GM's $1 billion in special incentives. It's big, and it's easy. Like up to $1,850 cash back on Grand Prix and Grand Am for qualified first-time buyers. Or get 2.9% GMAC financing on these hot new Pontiacs. Count on it. See your local Pontiac dealer when excitement countdown is really adding up.
I remember when I was 12 years old, I wanted to be in the big leagues. Sure, it was a big dream, but Dad said big dreams are what you need if you want to be the best. And Dad taught me about a lot more than just baseball. He taught me the meaning of trust and hard work and what it takes to be #1. Well, I never did pitch in a World Series, but I did make it to the big leagues. You've got to go with the best. Century 21.
Torsion basketball shoe. Moves the way your foot moves. Created with one thing in mind. Winning. If you really want it, you can. Adidas Torsion.
Only the 1972 Miami Dolphins had a perfect NFL season. The Bears were attempting to duplicate that feat in '85 when these two teams met in a classic Monday night matchup, and Dan Marino threw 3 touchdown passes, including that one to Nat Moore, and the Dolphins beat the Bears 38-24. If you're wondering, that's Dan as a baby on the right. But it leads us into the fact that the Trans-Antarctica International Expedition, 6 men covering 4,000 miles over a 7-month period. And we'll have a special for you again on Sunday. This Sunday, 7 Eastern and Pacific, 6 Central Time.
The country's involved. That is fascinating. Here he is. Who's this guy playing quarterback now?
Mr. McMahon is back in the game as Tomczak works the first 3 series, and now McMahon turns and gives the ball to Thomas Sanders, who takes it out to the 23-yard line. He is stopped there by Hugh Green. So when Mike Ditka is asked, well, who's going to be your quarterback? What do you think? He says, hey, it's not 1984. In other words, it's wide open. He means it. You know, we started to talk about it before, Dan, the fact that I think, it's my opinion anyway, that Ditka is looking for a reason to give Tomczak the job.
Oh, well, I couldn't agree more, and I think that Mike Tomczak believes that. And when you stand and talk to him, he certainly gives you that impression. He's not the least bit shy about saying, I deserve to be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears.
2nd down and 2 from the 23-yard line. And a first down. Suey taking the ball out to the 29-yard line. Dave Aaron in on the tackle. So under a full moon, it is Jim McMahon. It sounds real weird, but in effect, fighting for a starting job.
As is this guy, Matt Suey, who may be even more than a starting job, trying to stay with the Chicago Bears one more time. And quite frankly, Matt Suey is the kind of a guy that just about every team in this league could use. Smart, heady, doesn't fumble the ball, better than average receiver. Unfortunately, I don't have a team.
Play action, and the first pass from McMahon is dropped by Glenn Kozlowski out at the 50-yard line.
Well thrown ball, and one thing McMahon has is a great touch. Doesn't have a strong arm. He'll tell you that. Mike Ditka will tell you that. But look at this. Kozlowski had not even made the move. He put it right on his hands, and That one definitely should have been caught. And when you talk about McMahon, I think you'd like to have him as your starter. But when you look back over the years, he started only 32 of the Bears' last 69 regular season games. It's always a couple of questions about McMahon in Chicago, and one of them being, when's he going to get hurt? And the other one, when's he going to come back?
2nd and 10 at the 29-yard line. They set up the screen, and it's Sanders with blocking. And he takes it out to the 39-yard line. He's close to a first down, and so Shea knocked McMahon down after the release.
Knocked him down pretty darn good, too. It's a screen, so some of the guys up the middle are going to be let free. And so Shea comes in, and, well, and I guess Jim McMahon is entitled to protect himself when he's down on the ground.
They'll measure.
And so Shea will take a deep breath.
Jim started last season, of course, healthy at the beginning of the year, went 7-1 before he was hurt in the 9th game. Hurt the knee, which later off season required arthroscopic surgery.
It'll be 3rd and inches. Well, that's pretty much the whole thing. I mean, with McMahon's track record, if they could count on him, and if he were more durable, there probably wouldn't be a competition to be number 1 at this point.
Well, we better throw in this guy, Jim Harbaugh, as well. And Mike Ditka makes the statement that, hey, it's a 3-way race. Don't count this guy out. Well, number 1 draft choice from Jimmy Harbaugh.
That's when Tomczak replaced McMahon last year. He only lasted 4 games before he was hurt.
3rd and inches. And McMahon sneaks his way for a first down. Getting it out to the 40-yard line with 8.5 minutes to play in the first half.
You know, there are a lot of teams in this league that would like to have some of Mike Ditka's and Greg Landry's problems in having that many talented quarterbacks on your roster. There's Landry, the offensive coordinator of the Bears. Calls the offensive plays.
New change this year. Eddie Hughes has been the offensive coordinator for many years for Mike Ditka. He's moved up to an assistant head coach, and it's Greg Landry now who's putting the offense together, even though Eddie is consulted and works with it.
McMahon guiding the Bears from the 40-yard line. Protected well, but now rolling to his right, tries to set up the dump-off pass, and it's incomplete. The crowd wants grounding, but they don't get it.
Hugh Green this time decking McMahon, and it would be something if Hugh Green could come back. He was, of course, a Pro Bowler for many years with Tampa Bay. Don Shula gave up a first and a second in '86 to get number 55. Hugh Green, here he comes. And he tore up the knee at the beginning of the season of '86, missed all of that season, missed all of '87, came back a little bit last year, and they didn't even protect him as a free agent this year. Waived him, came back, and took a more than a half cut in his contract, which was over $800,000. So he's in here trying to earn a job, and he's been looking awfully good in camp. And if they can get something out of him, it's going to make a big difference in their defense.
2nd and 10, and Mark Green, no relation to you, takes it out to the 41-yard line. He's a rookie out of Notre Dame, Dave Aarons. Makes the tackle, and again, you're looking at somebody trying to win a job in Mark Green. You know, obviously, that Neil Anderson has a job, and Brad Muster's going to play, and they're going to keep Thomas Sanders as well. We talked about Suey, though. There's a question there. Then you've got Green. Later on, Ditka wants to see another back, Curtis Stewart, and he'll also look at Garrett Limbrick.
But what you're talking about, when you talk about these backups with the Bears, you're talking about quality football players. One of the best 80-man rosters in the game, if not the best.
3rd and 9 from the 41. And McMahon out of the shotgun. Throws a strike. This time Kozlowski does make the catch at the 39 for a first down.
Again, well, I don't know how I could throw it any better than that.
Beautiful touch. He had to throw it over the linebacker, David Fry. He'll do that beautifully. There's the zone, the classic zone. Kozlowski sets up. McMahon's got to get it over a linebacker, drop it into Kozlowski. He does it beautifully.
And if you're just joining us, a rapidly moving game.
We're down to 6.5 minutes to play in the first half. Mike Tomczak looked very good on 3 drives tonight, 2 of which resulted in touchdowns. Now it's Jim McMahon leading the Bears. Chicago leads 14-0. As Mark Green, the Notre Dame rookie, carries the ball inside the 35 to about the 34-yard line. With 6:10 now to play in the first half.
Of course, a familiar name, college football, Mark Green, 640-some yards a year ago as a defensive back, as a sophomore. Fine athlete. That's getting a long look in a Bear uniform tonight.
Each team opening its preseason schedule against Chicago opens the regular season against Cincinnati, the AFC champs, and then in week 2 they get Minnesota.
We'll see him twice against Philadelphia and then against Cleveland.
Tough way to begin for Chicago. And Green, after escaping a tackle in the backfield, turns it up and gets it down to the 30-yard line and very close to a first down. Hugh Green and Dave Ahrens in on the tackle.
Good job that time of Green getting away from Jackie Klein, who had him wrapped up in the backfield. It's still the #1 unit of the Bears up front. Let's take a look at it here. Green with the ball, and there's Klein, really has him all wrapped up. And Green with the leg drive stays with it and breaks through for another 5 yards.
And we talked earlier about the fact that John Boza, the #1 pick in '87, still out with an injured knee at that right defensive end. Eric Kumaro also out with a knee. 3rd and less than 1, and Green gets that and plenty as he takes it to the 27-yard line. The Bears and McMahon still on the move, and another first down for Chicago.
One thing, if they could get a Hugh Green back, as we see the play brought into McMahon, if they could get a Hugh Green to play back to 80% of what he was at Tampa Bay, it would really be a major benefit for the defense of the Dolphins that only had 24 sacks last year, 26th overall defensively in the league. But it's tough to do anything at all against a team that can throw the football unless you can get some kind of pressure on their quarterback.
Bears with their 12th play on this drive, which started at their own 16-yard line, and McMahon fires over the middle to the wide open tight end James Thornton. And Tomczak and Thornton hooked up on a similar play for a longer gain in the first quarter. McMahon, as always, even for isolated face shots, in the shades.
He hasn't played all that much, but you see him in sunglasses. You see him on motorcycles. He's selling his headbands. Unfortunately for fans in Chicago, you've seen him on the sidelines far too much. And we are witnessing an annihilation. The Bears are just running roughshod over the Miami Dolphins. Surgical job.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. And Suey takes it to the 11. Well, a lot of people, it's kind of the in vogue thing this year in the NFC Central to pick the Minnesota Vikings. I know almost every magazine I've read outside of Mirabella and Women's Wear Daily seems to be picking the Vikings.
You're going to Minneapolis next week now, Al.
Well, I'm just telling you what I've been reading.
You left out GQ. I'm sure they picked them.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were getting ready to make a pick.
I think the Bears are going to be very tough to unseat.
They can stay healthy. I think that's the main problem. It was their problem all last year. The age of the offensive line. We've already talked about the defensive injuries of a year ago. If that Bear team had been healthy, it would have been better than 12-4.
2nd and 7 from the 11. Great protection again, and the annihilation continues as Mark Green makes the catch, takes it down to the 4, and that's close to a first down. Don Shula working up a sweat on this hot and humid night and cannot be at all pleased with anything he has seen here in the first half.
Well, I just think, Al and Frank, it's a situation where when it comes to athlete going against athlete, the Miami Dolphins, with the people that they have out, with some of their unsigned people, with the people that are hurt, really are not at the talent level of the Chicago Bears, or quite frankly, anywhere near the talent level of the Chicago Bears from sideline to sideline.
How frustrating it is for coaches to know that you need them in there. You want to work What do you do as desperately as they make a sound? Well, that's a question mark. But any coach you talk to will tell you that he's got to be here. I've got to have him. And there's a logjam right now among those #1 draft picks.
There's how you lose ball games, folks. When you give up a first down on 49% of your third down opportunities, leading the NFL in a category you don't want to lead in. And Tom Alabadati has to correct that for the Dolphins to get back on the positive side of the ledger.
You have to have the people to do it. 2-minute warning.
For reaching out, for reaching high, for pushing hard each time you try, for taking time, for taking pride, for showing what you got inside, for the smile that's part of you, for stepping in, for coming through this buzz for you, for standing tall and staying true, giving your all, for coming through this buzz for you.
Coming through for you. Beechwood Age, for the taste so crisp, so clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
Pontiac's excitement countdown is adding up. Count on getting your share of GM's $1 billion in special incentives. It's big, and it's easy. Like up to $1,850 cash back on Grand Prix and Grand Am for qualified first-time buyers. Or get 2.9% GMAC financing on these hot new Pontiacs. Count on it. See your local Pontiac dealer when excitement countdown is really adding up.
Thoroughbred sensation Easy Goer leads the field at the Travers Stakes, plus the U.S. Outdoor Diving Championships, all live on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday.
Last year in the regular season when Chicago beat Miami, they had the ball for more than 45 minutes. And tonight, the same situation. 9 minutes on this drive. 15th play of the drive. 3rd and inches from inside the 5-yard line. And they pick up the first down the way they have so often through the years. Just give it to Suey to bull straight ahead, and it's 1st and goal from about the 3.
Boy, did Matt get bent over backwards. Ooh, that's tough on young bodies. Much less a guy in his 10th year. He got the first down, but boy, they folded him up.
Has he been a steady one over those 10 years, too, Matt Suey?
Look at that getting bent backwards there. Boy, you always wonder where the legs are when you see the upper torso going backwards. Luckily, Suey was able to get out from underneath.
You ever been in that position? You're just wondering how far it's going to go before it stops. From the 2-yard line, here's Green moving to the outside, and a touchdown.
Ooh, it's a real whipping.
A major whipping going on. Over in left side of that offensive line, just blowing the Dolphins out of there. And Green looking for the inside, as you do when you get down near that goal line, looking for the gap to slice it in. Just took it all to the outside. Again, the Bears blowing off the line of scrimmage. Good block by number 86, Bozo.
Well, Bozo just wipes out the entire left side of the line. You're not supposed to get hooked like that down on the goal line, and Cap Bozo really sealing it off inside, and it's a walk into the end zone for the Bears.
He's back again from an injury season. Had a very bad neck a year ago, missed much of the season. Bears happy to have Bozo back. Kevin Butler, his 3rd extra point. The rookie Green with the touchdown. And Chicago whopping 21-7.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Jeff Eagles of New England punts, and another Patriot forces a Dolphin blocker into the ball at the 40 and then recovers the loose ball at the 29. Now you make the call. Whose ball is it and where?
You got to juggle 10 things all at once and get them done right. Get them done before lunch. How are you gonna do it? Well, you're gonna PS to it with your IBM PS2. You can do things with micro-channel that other computers just can't handle. You got an edge in power and speed. You're a forward thinker. Yes, indeed. How you gonna do it? Easy. You're gonna PS to it. The solution is IBM.
What call did you make? The receiving team is considered not to have touched the ball, and it belongs to the Dolphins at the spot where the Patriot is considered to have illegally touched it.
Pontiac's excitement countdown is adding up. Count on getting your share of GM's $1 billion in special incentives. It's big, and it's easy. Like up to $1,850 cash back on Grand Prix and Grand Am for qualified first-time buyers. Or get 2.9% GMAC financing on these hot new Pontiacs. Count on it. See your local Pontiac dealer when excitement countdown is really adding up.
For minorities, high school sports may not be the best ticket to success. A new study finds a better route. Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings tomorrow.
Mike Singletary, William Perry behind him on the Chicago sideline, and it's gone perfectly for the Bears offensively and defensively tonight. They lead it 21-0 with 1 minute and 9 seconds to play in the first half at Joe Robbie Stadium. Kent Sullivan, a rookie at a Cal Lutheran, kicks off, and the ball fielded at the 10-yard line by Eric Starr. And he brings it out to the 27 with 1 minute and 3 to play in the first half. Back in a moment.
Frank, I send you for a Bud Light, and you bring back...
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Because everything else is just a light.
We can live with that. Yeah.
Excuse me. Are those Bugle Boy jeans that you're wearing?
Oh, yes. They are Bugle Boy jeans.
Thank you.
Power equals work divided by time equals the Reebok cross-training system equals the physics behind the physiques equals Reebok.
Petunias and agapanthus?
What? Want to know any more? Ask Ace. That's what I do.
Ace Wasp and Hornet Sprayer Home Fogger, $169 each. Ace waterproofing sealer is just $6.49 a gallon.
Hey, Ace is the place for me.
The great names, the classic moments, the incredible plays. Join the celebration. ABC's Monday Night Football 20th Anniversary Special, September 11th.
Well, back in Miami, a fellow who made a major mark in this town, of course, Jimmy Johnson made his debut as the Dallas Cowboy coach yesterday against San Diego, and a successful one at that.
Not bad for his quarterback, Troy Aikman, who did pretty well in the budget department also, but we'll be talking with him. Lynn Swan will at halftime. Should be very interesting to get his observation after his first go-around. Dallas beating San Diego yesterday. I have a hard time not saying Tom Landry when I talk Dallas.
Yeah. After 29 seasons. Pease out of the shotgun. And it's Tom Brown taking it out to the 38-yard line. Miami trying to salvage something in the waning seconds of the first half.
Pretty well executed middle screen, and Miami going to their hurry-up offense. The fridge still in the middle for the Bears.
1st and 10. Pease gets it away, and the catch is made by Andre Brown. Singletary wraps him up, and timeout is called with 27 seconds to play in the first half.
Mike Ditka indicated he wanted to see William Perry, the Fridge, who missed so much of last season with a broken arm. He wanted to see him throughout the entire first half. He wanted to play somebody into shape. You do it in Miami, I guess, Dan, with the weather down here.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Bear offense isn't cooperating with Mike Ditka. They've kept the ball almost the entire first half, and Perry really hasn't gotten that many snaps. Ditka told us yesterday, believe me, when this game's over with, he'll need to replenish some of the fluids. But I don't think that's been the case so far. Williams pretty fresh, hasn't played much.
I love the way the Bears keep it rather mysterious. They don't want to talk about exactly what Perry weighs, but I guess to relate him to maybe another famous Chicago, and I would say he's come in at probably 2 1/4 Oprahs.
2 1/4 Oprahs?
Roughly. They don't want to tell you exactly what he weighs.
Oh, Al.
I'll tell you, he's looking awfully good, though. And
glad you're back.
The one-on-one drills. I'll bet she is, too.
Maybe not for long.
Yeah.
You haven't seen her lately, have you? She's really sleeked out.
Well, that's what I mean. Only 2 1/4. Second down. And it's picked off by David Tate. And it's
who's given a helping hand up.
And so this first half has been thoroughly Chicago from end to end.
David Tate forgot that he could get up and run with the football.
That's kind of important. He's been around a couple of years. He's playing on a very sore ankle tonight, but he
one of his teammates gives him a gentle push on the Derriere. All right, here's the big guy in the middle. Here's the Fridge. Got him up high. It's never pretty inside. Tough to put him on the ground, though. That's just a good upfield rush by Perry. But Al, you're right. It caps a rather miserable first half for the Miami Dolphins. And the Fridge gets off easy again with an INT.
At the 50-yard line.
Harbaugh there, quarterback.
Yep, and he'll play in the second half as Mustard takes the inside handoff and takes it to the 39-yard line.
And now the Bears take a timeout wisely.
Harbaugh's a little greedy there, isn't he? Well, he got him in field goal range. You got to practice everything in a preseason game. He's close to field goal range.
If you're Jim Harbaugh, I mean, you're not looking at the scoreboard at 21-0. You're looking at a chance to run your second play of the ball game.
Right.
You don't care if it's 48-0.
One characteristic all of these quarterbacks have in common, these Bear quarterbacks, including McMahon, they are tough competitors. I mean, they are fighters, they're scratchers. They've had a couple of scraps in training camp, and you would expect that from your linemen, from some of your bigger people, but their quarterbacks have been getting into it.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that the quarterbacks in Chicago just have the same persona as the rest of the team.
Something happens when you put on that uniform, doesn't it?
Well, it's Bear football, and they're quite proud of it in Chicago. It's rough, it's stumble, it's aggressive. Always has been, Frank. Not talking about last year or the last decade. It's been that way for 40, 50 years.
Papa Bear coached him for 40 years, taught him one way. It was pretty mean.
From the shotgun at the 39-yard line. Harbaugh completes it to Kozlowski, and that'll do it. They couldn't call the timeout before the clock had run out.
Harbaugh thinks he had it, and Tom Dooley might have mercifully let that one run out.
Best thing to happen to the Dolphins in the half. So McMahon and the Bears go back at halftime. A dominant first half for Chicago, 21-0.
For induction into the National Football League Hall of Fame, Mike Ditka.
This is it, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To be selected is the greatest honor of my life. To join men like George Halas. And because of him, I started my career as a Chicago Bear. And I'm with the Bears again. And the game I loved as a player is still in my blood as a coach. The will to win, the fire competition. They're all part of the stories that are here for you at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And when you see Mike Ditka, remember that in life, just as in football, there's a lot more to winning than just wanting to. See, you have to prove yourself every day to always give your best. You really never lose until you stop trying.
They're all here. The records, the films, the stories at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it. This message furnished by the National Football League.
Saturday, they're coming. Peter Falk and Burt Reynolds.
Here's the really interesting part.
The ABC Saturday Mystery premieres this week with Columbo.
Take the Audi 3-year test drive. Attain German performance without the investment of ownership. Acquire German innovation without the responsibilities of scheduled maintenance costs. Possess a car that's most desirable on a lease that's most affordable. The ride may last 3 years, but the offer is limited.
Now, factory incentives give you incredible savings when you buy any 1989 Audi.
Now at Roy Rogers, buy a 12, 16, or 20-piece order of hot, delicious fried chicken and get a free 6-pack of Coca-Cola Classic.
Sometimes the roads are long, so it's good to know you've got some friends along the way. Pull into any Exxon retailer and you'll find advanced formula gasolines, precision equipment for precision engines. You'll also find the kind of help that makes those roads a little smoother. And that'll never change, because it's why people have been coming into Exxon and why they keep coming back.
Thanks. I'm Mark Stevens. We'll hear from Phil Simms after the game.
And welcome to the Toyota Halftime Report, brought to you by Toyota. You'll love the lineup of Toyota cars and trucks. Well, we're delighted you're with us tonight. We hope you're enjoying our first of 3 Monday night preseason telecasts as we look forward to our 20th anniversary season. And as we go into the season, Lynn Swann will be joining Al, Michael, Dan Deerdorf, and myself, as he does this evening. And, of course, the Dallas Cowboys and a new coach, Jimmy Johnson, got things underway with the preseason game yesterday against the San Diego Chargers. Fine debut for the rookie coach, and not a bad one for his rookie quarterback, Troy Aikman. Let's go now to Lynn Swann. He's in Dallas. Take it away, Lynn.
Thank you, Frank. Jimmy Johnson began his professional coaching debut making a bit of history yesterday. He was the first person other than Tom Landry in 29 years to coach the Dallas Cowboys. But until he takes this team home to Dallas and has a winning, successful football season, there will still be a part of Tom Landry on the sideline. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, Tom Landry's team. The glory of Landry's 29 years included tough defense that captured 20 consecutive winning seasons, 13 divisional titles. A never-say-die offense led them to 5 Super Bowl appearances with 2 wins. The thrill of victory was gone, however, when the Cowboys ended their 1988 season with a 3-13 record. Landry's 3rd consecutive losing season. What Landry needed was time to rebuild the Cowboys into a winning front-page story. Instead, on page 1, he read about being fired. America's team belonged to someone else.
If you haven't guessed, may I introduce Jerry Jones.
Earlier this year, Arkansas oil man Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for $140 million. Jones quickly replaced the respected threesome of Landry, Tex Schramm, and Gil Brandt with only one man, Jimmy Johnson. Formerly head coach at the University of Miami and still best friends with his old college teammate of 25 years, Jerry Jones. With complete control of football matters and a 10-year contract, an intense Johnson made all drafting decisions, which included the #1 overall pick, Troy Aikman, and supplemental pick, Steve Walsh. Johnson also negotiated their contracts. He also completely restructured the offense to resemble his college team and the Miami Dolphins. Will Johnson be successful? Only time will tell. But the past may hold a clue. In '59, Lombardi took over a losing Packer team to lead them to 2 Super Bowls. In '69, Chuck Noll took over losing Steeler teams and they won 4 Super Bowls. In '79, Bill Walsh took over a losing San Francisco team, and he won 3 Super Bowls. In 1989, Jimmy Johnson makes his professional debut. I'm with Jimmy Johnson, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in Thousand Oaks, California, their training camp. Jimmy, thank you for being here. Yesterday was a good win for you. Did you feel comfortable, or maybe a bit of the pressure, taking over for Landry's historical presence?
Well, Len, we've been so busy, we haven't had time to really think about what's happened in the past with the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't feel a whole lot of pressure. I was more than anything else thinking about what we needed to do to win the game and evaluate our players, and of course we were happy with the win.
One player you especially wanted to evaluate was Troy Aikman. How did you evaluate that performance?
I thought Troy did a good job. I thought he stuck to our game plan. You know, we knew that San Diego really had a very physical defensive front, and so we wanted to let Troy take what they gave him. We threw a lot of short passes, and Troy was very accurate. He was able to take him down, put him in the end zone, made a nice pass to Kelvin Martin for the touchdown.
At one point in the first half, Herschel Walker's in the ball game, and I heard the photographer on the sideline say, they're paying him $20 million to hand the ball off to Herschel. I could do that. Well, the $20 million is wrong. That's a wrong number. But when you add Steve Walsh to it, it gets pretty close to that. Is it smart? Is it feasible? Can these two guys play on the same team together?
I think for the long haul, probably not. But for right now, I think it was in our best interest to have Steve Walsh with us. He's a quality player, and I think he's going to be an outstanding NFL quarterback. He'll get the start against the Raiders Saturday night, and we'll be able to evaluate his performance a little bit more here in the future.
Now, I'm not Sam Donaldson, but you've had one game. What are your realistic hopes for wins in the 1989 season?
You know, I'm not so naive to think that we're going to jump into the NFL and make an impact with a lot of wins, because right now we have some work to do. We've got some... we're shorthanded in some places, but our guys have a great attitude. They are working hard, and I think that we're going to show some good things.
It's a tough road, but I know you're enthusiastic about the Cowboys' chances for winning in 1989. Thank you for being here.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Introducing the totally redesigned 1990 four-wheel drive Toyota 4Runner. Now the additional performance permits available V6 is combined with additional comfort, additional necessities, and additional doors. Where you go in your new four-door Toyota 4Runner is your concern. Getting you back is ours.
Bears over the Dolphins, 21-0 at halftime. First preseason game for both teams. And one of the features here on Monday Night Football we're looking forward to this season, and that will be Hank Williams Jr., the country and western star, the country and western entertainer of the year for the past 3 seasons. Well, I talked to him recently and found out he's a great pro football fan and a fan of Monday Night Football. And you are going to hear from Hank Williams Jr. from time to time. Of course, a great entertainer, and he had a chance to take one of his favorite songs, one of his numbers. I'm sure if you're a fan of his, you've heard it many times. He's adapted it to Monday Night Football. Here it is, All My Rowdy Friends.
I don't want to jump on them.
Hey, the pizza's here, guys.
Hey, pizza.
Is that game yet? Pepperoni sausage.
Monday night fan. I remember all the big games, all the trick plays. It's been here for 20 years, and here it's gonna stay. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause Monday night football's coming on tonight. Hey, are you a big fan? Hey, do you want to party? We got Frank and Al and Dan ready to get this thing started. Friends are here for Monday night time. Football, that is. just seems to ignite. Now I know some guys that are ready to blitz, and some big old dudes will be taking their licks. I bet they're cheering like we are all over the land, jumping up and down like the fans in the stands. Nobody does a football like an ABC. Why, it's the only game for people like me. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? Hey, hey, this is Rockin' Randall Hank, ready to get the good time started. You gotta hit 'em, gotta dodge 'em, get the play called right. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. Yes, everybody's a fan. Hey, this is the biggest party, man. We got Frank and Al and Dan. They really got it started. Week after week, it's the time that is right. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night. That's right.
You're looking at the most grueling automotive test of the year. To simply survive, you've got to be good. But to emerge as 4x4 of the year, you've got to be the best. Toyota's SR5 V6 is the 4x4 of the year. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Back at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, the Chicago Bears over the Miami Dolphins 21-0. The Toyota halftime report has been brought to you by Toyota. You'll love the lineup of Toyota cars and trucks. And we'll be coming back to Joe Robbie Stadium in just a few moments after this from our ABC stations. Stay with us as we continue preseason play here on Monday night.
Tell your friends Tuesday's terrific.
Yo, guys!
Yo, Tony!
Yo, guys!
Hello, Angela. Who's the boss? Ben.
The tension was becoming unbearable. We all felt it, in our own way.
The Wonder Years. And meet Dan's dad.
The daughter I never had.
Yeah, well, Ed, you would have died in labor.
Roseanne. Then.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy!
Anything But Love is back.
I have goosebumps the size of grapefruits.
Who's the boss? The Wonder Years. Roseanne and Anything But Love. It's a terrific Tuesday. Tomorrow.
This is Eyewitness News, a halftime report. Here now is Bill Butel.
Good evening. Special, the Chicago Bears versus the Miami Dolphins. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it. And by Mazda and the all-new Miata, official car of the Senior TPC.
So we're back to start the second half at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. First half dominated by the Bears. They lead it 21-0. Mike Tomczak engineered 2 touchdown drives. Jim McMahon 1. Kevin Butler will kick off. He's kicked 3 extra points. And here we go. Looking at that football, I wonder whose name is going to be on it. Yeah, that's right. In the near future. Of course, Pete Rozelle's signature at the moment. Search continues. I think they ought to hire Art Buchwald. Lighten things up a little bit. Butler with a short kick fielded at the 10-yard line by Logan. And straight up the middle he comes out to the 36-yard line. And from there will the Dolphins start this drive. And here comes Cliff Stout now. Veteran for many years. Terry Bradshaw is back up in Pittsburgh. Then he went to the USFL for 2 seasons with Birmingham. More recently with the St. Louis and then Phoenix Cardinals. And now over here to back up Marino.
I would assume that we will see some improvement of the level of play of the Miami Dolphins. I imagine they heard a spirited halftime talk by Don Shula.
Even though it is preseason. And Stout's first pass is caught for a first down by Andre Brown, rookie out of the University of Miami. He's bigger than most of the Miami receivers, the Dupers and the Claytons and the Bankses, and a fellow who could fit in. Strong arm. We saw that when he first came up as a Pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Youngstown State. Been around a little bit, 7 years at Pittsburgh. Didn't work out there, went to the WFL, and of course 3 years with the Cardinals. But he's a Miami Dolphin Don Shula type of backup quarterback. Been around, he's a veteran. Somebody that you can rely on, as he has in the past with Ron Jaworski and Earl Morrow. You think of a lot of them.
And on first down, the pass is caught by Ferrell Edmonds, the tight end, out at the 50-yard line. Pickup of 3. It'll be second down and 7.
And I guess Mike Ditka agreed with us that maybe the first half, dominated by the Bears offense, wasn't enough work for the Fridge. So he stays in here in quarter number 3. And when you play defensive tackle, rarely ever do you beat one guy and get a clean shot. Beat somebody, there's somebody else. And that's the Fridge, who's going to continue to work here tonight. Play himself into good shape.
Second and 7 at the 50-yard line. As Edmonds is in motion, the tight end. And Lorenzo Hampton picks up 2. We saw Troy Stratford earlier, and again we go back to the fact that Sammy Smith, their #1 draft choice, hasn't signed. We have a penalty on the play. Hampton was their leading ground gainer last year, and we're going to get a face mask call here in a moment, but he's a guy who, when Smith reports to camp, will be fighting for a starting job.
Holding 75, defense, second down.
That's John Shannon. So again, there's Hampton. He led the Dolphins. Look at that. That's about 2 weeks' work for Eric Dickerson. 2.5 weeks, 414 yards. That's a whole season's worth for their leading ground gainer. You all know about the Dolphins and their offense. We've talked about it. Great passing, no running.
And it doesn't work that way. I mean, you just can't expect to win consistently with your attack so out of proportion, so unbalanced as the Miami Dolphins.
Tom Zach and McMahon looking on with the Bear defense out on the field from the 45-yard line. Straight ahead goes Tom Brown, taking it to the 40-yard line.
Dan, as an offensive lineman, though, and when you are conditioned basically to be a pass blocker, is it easy to switch off back and forth, or would it be better if you had more of a balanced attack?
No, actually, the running game, I think, requires a lot more coordination and a lot more practice in terms of executing the block. And when you lose track of the running game, when it is no longer a big part of your repertoire, I think it takes a long time to get back into sync running the football. I think that's obvious with Miami.
Second and 6, and Stout down the sidelines. No, out of bounds with Scott Schwede.
And, you know, Frank, get back to that. It's really not so much the blocking the line. Granted, maybe that's not what it ought to be, but they have not had the big guy in the backfield. They haven't had that guy. You got to go all the way back to Del Williams to find a 1,000-yard rusher for the Miami Dolphins. How close was Mr. Schwede to having a catch?
Very athletic move to get that toe down.
Oh, that's a catch.
And that's a catch that that toe did touch, and it certainly did look like it went down. We may get a
That's a catch, and we're going to have a replay, folks.
First one of the night. George Slatke is the replay official.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a catch all the way.
As they say in the book, indisputable.
Now, well, the only question is, did he have possession of the ball? And, of course, only the official right there on the spot could rule. I mean, if he had control of the football, there's no question that the feet are in. The feet are there. Does he have control?
Well, the next words will
we have an angle
here.
Let's see if we have an angle.
Further review.
Well, that's a catch all the way. That's got to be overturned.
Well, they use our video, but they don't listen to us, do they? There's a consideration going on.
You're right. I shouldn't say they have to overturn it. They should overturn it.
They better overturn it.
Well,
fourth year we've had instant replay. It keeps getting renewed on a year-by-year basis. And this year they'll be looking at 12-inch monitors instead of 8.
Boy, you can tell this is a preseason game. Another look at Scott Schwade's. The right foot there is clearly in bounds by a good 6 or 8 inches. Down comes the left.
And it certainly looked like control. About 10% of the plays were overruled last year.
It's the preseason for the officials in the replay booth as well.
Owners, of course, voted on the replay again this here, and the vote was 23 for and 5 against, and it stayed in, and they have ruled that the pass is completed.
Although that word, while it is filtered to Kenny Wolf, our producer, doesn't seem to have filtered now to Tom Dooley and his officiating crew. Kenny, you wouldn't be putting us on, would you?
Might have been a personal opinion on the part of our producer. This is the negative side of it.
I don't know. This is the loudest the Dolphin crowd has been all day.
There's a communication problem is what it is. So Ed Piffick comes to the sideline, the umpire.
Well, he starts to come to the sideline.
Yep.
It is the negative side of it. Get a game that's moving along, and all of a sudden you'd stop.
Well, we've been informed that what's taking the time now is that they're trying to figure out exactly where to spot the ball. The official rules an incomplete pass, so he doesn't pay attention to where the receiver went out of bounds after catching the football. So they're reviewing tape, trying to figure it out. Let's see if we can give them a hand here.
Should be difficult.
But he still got the ball. There goes the knee out of bounds right there. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. Is that the 20? Is that the 21, 22? Round it off, guys. It's 21-0. Come on, the Dolphins are losing.
Yeah.
Put them down by the 15 or the 10.
There it is. Inside the 25 to the 22-yard line.
Yeah. 21.
All right.
After further review, it's a completed pass out of bounds on the 21-yard line. First down.
Well, we knew eventually it would work.
19-yard gain. Best thing that's happened to the Dolphins tonight. Would you say Marino's done for the night?
Either that or he's got some awful small shoulder pads.
Right. He's already planning on teeing it up tomorrow morning.
Right, that's a pretty good indication.
And Joe Robbie Stadium is electric.
It has erupted. At the 21-yard line, Hampton gets 3. Woods in on the tackle with Johnson. Second down and 7. It holds about 73,000, Joe Robbie Stadium does. They expected close to 50 tonight. Last game played here was the Super Bowl.
Frankly, it's a nice crowd on hand tonight considering the inclement weather. An hour or so before game time, it was downright ugly here. Lightning, thunder, pretty heavy rain.
How come I was the only one in the booth with the lightning snapping around?
The price you pay for being the host of the show, Frank.
That's what it is.
2nd and 6 from the 17. Stout nimbly gets away, and then the pass is incomplete.
And why did he throw the ball? What did he throw that ball for? Cliff Strout, it appeared that Cliff had some running room when he threw it. He'd broken through most of the heavy traffic.
He was being pursued by a not-so-nimble William the Refrigerator Perry.
I don't care how stout is, he can outrun the fridge. Who heads to the sideline. Let's take a look at it again. There's the fridge. Cliff breaks up to the middle and just about gets through. And you saw that he really had a lot of running room right there. John Roper, number 55, really wasn't close enough to bring him down.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 6. Bears rush 4. Flush Stout out. Running out of room, throws back across the field, batted twice, batted 3 times, and finally incomplete.
And Schwades wants to play soccer with it.
After the scrum.
On the pitch.
Yep. So it'll be 4th down and 6. Another look.
There's the first touch by Davenport. Then Marcus Paul bats it up. Hits a couple more people and down she goes. Stojanovic.
Yep. 35-yard attempt. Ball spotted at the 25-yard line. And with Reves on the shelf, Stojanovic trying to win a job, but does not help his cause there. This drive comes up empty. Bears get it back. 21-0 Chicago.
Talk to me, CJ. What are you really feeling?
It's very sweet.
This is what sets every Mazda apart. It's called Conseil Engineering. Engineering based on human feelings.
Keep an eye on his pulse, please.
With it, Mazda can actually learn how to create cars that feel just right. Because to us, feeling right is what driving is really all about. Come feel a Mazda.
It is from Kodak. It is for the advanced photographer. It delivers the highest resolution. Microfine grain. Superior image structure. It is called Ektar. Sounds like the most impressive color print film ever made? It is. New Ektar film by Kodak. The genius is in the details.
Apple, lemon, blueberry, boysenberry, rhubarb, cherry.
What was one before cherry?
Rhubarb. Rhubarb.
It's a plant. What's a rhubarb?
A vegetable. It's about yay long.
We're out of rhubarb.
The cold, the windy.
Pete Stoyanovich just missed a field goal, but he's very versatile, and Don Shula knows about versatile place kickers because all you have to do is go back to Super Bowl VII at the LA Coliseum, Washington against Miami. The fabled Garo Yepremian play coming up right here about the only blemish on an otherwise perfect afternoon for Miami. What was ruled a fumble there, and for those of you who saw the Hula Bowl or the Japan Bowl this year in postseason, watch Stoyanovich pick it up.
I didn't see it, but I'm glad I'm seeing it.
Suffice it to say, not in the Dolphin playbook. At the 20-yard line, Harbaugh, the quarterback, and Curtis Stewart, who spent a season blocking for Bo Jackson at Auburn.
Harbaugh, excuse me, Al Harbaugh, fellow alumnus of my colleague Dan Deerdorf out of Michigan. We got his first start against the Rams. Kind of shaky, but he came right back with wins over Green Bay and Detroit. And he's right in the running. If you believe what you hear, that any one of the three could be the starter when the season begins.
2nd and 8 from the 22-yard line. Harbaugh scrambling and turns it into a short gain as he's run out of bounds up at about the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down coming up for Harbaugh and the Bears. And we can remind you that Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports returns. The Travers Stakes from Saratoga. Easy goer going to the post there. The U.S. Outdoor Diving Championships, and also a feature on Greg LeMond, the winner of the Tour de France, all coming your way this Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Looking forward to my trip to Saratoga. We'll be hosting Wide World from Saratoga. The most colorful racing spots you'll ever find. Great history there. Speaking of history, you know, Dan talked about that one losing season. His last one was in, what, 76, when he was 6-8. Might be good to point out that for the 3 consecutive years following that losing season, the Dolphins finished in first place in the Eastern Division.
There was a penalty at the end of the last play, personal foul on Rick Graff.
That was then, this is now. That will be tougher to do in 1989 than it was in 77.
Bears from the 39-yard line. Harbaugh, and his first pass of the second half to James Coley is complete. There's a marker down at the 43.
Almost sure that this will be some type of holding or illegal use of hands. Oh, an ineligible receiver downfield. That's a tough one. The umpire, stationed right behind the defensive line, launched that flag. Somebody got a head start.
Illegal receiver downfield, number 79 offense. First down.
It's Kurt Becker. He would think he should know better in his 8th year out of the University of
Michigan. Why do you guys, you know, we're going to have a little talk after we get off the air. Right?
Oh, yeah? I thought you were going to detail the success of the Michigan quarterbacks in the NFL over the years. It was a very good lead-in.
I'm out of here.
Jim Harbaugh has an excellent chance of being #1.
Too late, Dan. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line after the penalty. This is Curtis Stewart. Breaks a tackle, picks up the first down.
And running.
At almost 30 yards. And we mentioned before, Mike Ditka wanted to take a good long look tonight in the second half at Curtis Stewart out of Auburn. 27-yard pickup as Matsui looks on with more than casual interest.
Good strong running on the part of Stewart out of Auburn in his first year, and again a free agent. Just puts the head down and bulls his way through the Dolphin and gets it inside the 45-yard line. Trying to make a football team.
And of course it's Matsui, as I say, with more than casual interest, because Stewart is looking for a job as the reserve fullback from the 47-yard line. Harbaugh. Short pass to Stewart. And not much of a gain, if any. African Grant making the tackle.
First-year player, Mr. Grant here out of the University of Illinois. Really has a good shot at making this ball club. But again, it's a situation that even though the Chicago Bears have their second-string offensive unit all the way across the board in the ball game, you still get the impression that physically they're still dominating things up front.
2nd and 10 at the 43-yard line. 8:20 to go, third quarter. 21-0 Chicago. Harbaugh goes deep and off the fingertips of Sammy Archer, a rookie out of Oregon.
Archer really open on the play. The ball just a wee bit overthrown. Almost looked like Archer mistimed his leap a little bit.
Tough when you're in there like Harbaugh and you're throwing to receivers that in all probability are not going to be around. When ahead of him, the two men he's competing with, Tomczak, has been working with the first-string receivers, Morris and Davis, McKinnon, Kozlowski, and now all of a sudden you come in there and you try to make it work, and not a bad pass.
No, and I take it back. It wasn't a mistimed leap by Archer. Really a good job of getting up there. Got both hands on the football. Would have been sensational if he could have got it.
Harbaugh from the shotgun, hit as he gets it away, and incomplete. Hit by Jeff Cross, number 91.
That's what happens a lot of times when you have the backup lineman in there. And again, the two men that Harbaugh is competing with, McMahon and Tomczak, they had the benefit of that offensive line, the first stringers, for most of their tour duty tonight. But it'll turn around. Ditka's aware of that. They look at the films of the game and they're aware of who is in there with their quarterback. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he doesn't start somebody else next week. And it could be Harbaugh.
Ken Sullivan, rookie out of Cal Lutheran, trying to win a job to do the punting. Guedes will let it go, and it bounds through the end zone, and Miami will take over at its own 20-yard line. 8:01 remaining in the third quarter. Preseason opener for both teams, and the most successful one thus far for Chicago.
Bo knows baseball.
Bo knows basketball, too.
Bo knows tennis? No.
Oh, no, cycling.
Oh, no, weights.
Bo, you don't know diddly.
Buzzard's Gulch was drier than the red-hot desert ground. Old hombre named Mackenzie came riding into town. His saddlebags were loaded with the best fruit ever found. stumbled up to the bar and bought the house around.
To beat the desert heat, Spuds moseys on up to Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
Much obliged for the Bud Light, cowboy.
NFC powers collide when the Washington Redskins take on the Minnesota Vikings. It's an ABC Monday Night Football preseason special next week.
There's a good look at Johnny Rowland, the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears, a former teammate of mine in St. Louis, and certainly one of the names that is getting mentioned whenever a head coaching job opens up around the National Football League. And certainly because John is black, it makes news. He's qualified.
Stout going for the bomb on first down from the 20-yard line, and a fingertip catch made by Andre Brown. The play's still alive, and Brown takes it all the way down to the 14-yard line.
And nobody had to tell Andre Brown to get back up and take off.
He's from a passing school, the University of Miami, but Cliff Stout put that right on his fingertips. Oh, does that make a rookie feel good? Richard Brothers there defensively, and let's take a look at it again. And Stout this time had time to lay back and let Andre Brown under cover.
Brothers just with man coverage the entire way. Lets Brown get a good 2 yards, and then Brothers making a terrible mistake. And there's 6 points
to Schwady. Good call, Al. Quick count. 80 yards, 2 plays, and finally they have something to cheer about in Miami.
And you get the feeling maybe he's just been looking for something to get mad about. They go right back at Brothers again. This time Schwady's just with a jab step to the outside. Brothers bites on it all the way. And then the quick slant, and Stout with back-to-back beautiful throws.
Stoyanovich for the extra point.
Not bad. He shows the touch, and what do we hear?
And a low snap. And Jeff Ulenake, a rookie out of Ohio State, trying to win a job as not only the center on the special teams, but as the regular center on the offensive unit. Snaps a ground ball.
5th round draft pick.
Cliff Stout, the quarterback who threw the touchdown pass, was the holder there, and the low ball Cliff just couldn't handle. Can't do anything with it, though. 6 when it should have been 7.
Metabolic functions check. Respiration systems on. Okay, CJ, talk to me. What do you really feel?
It's just smooth out here. Let's shake it up a bit.
Try section 36. Section 36.
Roger that. Accelerating.
Showtime. This is what sets every Mazda apart. It's called Kansei Engineering. Engineering based on human feelings.
Keep an eye on his pulse, please.
I think I'm in hot.
We monitor that, CJ.
With it, Mazda can actually learn how to create cars that feel just right.
Hey, Steve. You tell me, how am I doing?
All 78, respiration.
I used pressure-treated lumber and still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's the first name in lasting protection.
In every town in America, there's always one place that does a little bit better job of fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts.
Peter, Prime Time Live with Diane Sawyer and Sam Donaldson, 2 of America's most formidable journalists, working without a net. Don't miss Prime Time Live Thursday.
Bears ahead 21-6, 7:44 to play in the 3rd quarter. Pete Stoyanovich puts it in the air for Miami. And Taylor fields the ball at the 2-yard line. And he's wrapped up at the 13. Take a look at the TV again. Stout again just fires over the middle. Schwady's in full stride, once again beating Richard Brothers, a rookie from Arkansas.
And a couple of fine passes by Stout, particularly the long one where he hit Andre Brown, the rookie from Miami. Now, here was the attempt, and I think, Dan, that the ball skipped right in front of Stout, and the turf is wet from the rain that's gone on late afternoon into the evening, and I think that's why it didn't come up. Stout was playing it to short hop, and it just didn't happen. Still not much of a snap by Uhlenake, and the Miami Dolphins now trailing by 15 rather than 14.
Harbaugh from the 14-yard line. Off the play fake, stepping up and throwing. And the catch is made at the 17 by Curtis Stewart, who is tackled immediately. Bobby Watkins making the tackle after a gain of 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
A high tackle that time by Watkins. Don choosing not to go low, but actually up over the shoulder pads of Stewart. We're seeing a lot of defensive backs for the Dolphins in Plan B, where they can only protect 37 players. Don Shula only protected 4 defensive backs, so he's looking for some help. Watkins, who played in Detroit last year.
2nd and 6. And Green dropped by Greg Clark. So the Dolphins coming alive and trying to make something of it after the Bears had thoroughly dominated the first half.
Prior to that play, the crowd was even chanting defense, defense. Tom Olivedade has been chanting defense for a couple of years here in Miami. And they did show improvement last year. They were more aggressive last year. They didn't climb the charts very high, ending the season at number 26 in the entire NFL, but still showed signs of getting better.
3rd and 9 from the 15-yard line. And they keep it on the ground. Green swings outside, tries to turn it back, and gets wrapped up at the 17.
And they're getting into it here at Joe Robbie. You can hear the crowd. Coming off a miserable year, as we said earlier, Don Shula said it was the worst year he's been through in coaching, and I think the final game when the Dolphins gave up 305 yards rushing to the Steelers, what a terrible way to end a year. And you know, when you close out that year, even if you're on a losing team, you can feel good about something. They could feel nothing good about that game whatsoever. I think you're part of that defensive unit.
Maury Buford sets up inside the 5. Low kick, fielded at the 46-yard line by Schwades, and he can't get into Chicago territory. He is thrown out of bounds by Brian Biro. 37-yard kick, 3-yard return with 5:07 to play in the 3rd. Miami has the ball at midfield.
What do you have? Give me 2 pizza puffs, a chili dog. Excuse me.
Is the edge. Whole grain nutrition is important, but of these leading cereals, only one is made with 100% whole grain. Only Wheaties. Just ask Carl Hershiser. Better get your whole grain.
Better eat your Wheaties.
The lights on these cars are running on battery power alone. And in the end, only one, the car with a new Die-Hard battery, our most powerful ever, is able to start. Great low prices every day, Die-Hard power. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
I don't ask why, and I don't ask how, because I already know where. Right here.
A 9-ounce can of Ace Lubie lubricant is only 88 cents, and a twin pack of combination locks is just $4.44.
Hey, Ace is the place for me.
The great names, the classic moments, the incredible plays. Join the celebration. ABC's Monday Night Football 20th Anniversary Special, September 11th.
Well, the man on the left promised the man on the right a workout tonight, and he wasn't lying.
Other than Sean Smith, who really could not be called a starter for the Bears, he's the only member of the starting unit still in there.
Miami 9 out of 10 for a 14-yard average when they throw on first down. This time they try a reverse, and it's Andre Brown turning it into a nice gain, taking it to the 41-yard line. So Miami beginning with its best field position of the night near midfield. 4:48 to play in the third quarter.
And Miami appearing to have a response to whatever it is that Don Shula told them at halftime. Again, let's take a look at the reverse. Well executed. Cliff Stout thinking about throwing a block and then thinking better of it.
Stout on first down from the 41 with a lot of time, and then a fingertip drop by Schwedes. Almost. And again, they work on number 46, Richard Brothers.
And Mike Ditka, I think, really doing Brothers a favor by letting him stay in the ball game. Beaten on successive passes. You know, if this was some places, he may get the hook. And, of course, that's just going to ruin his confidence forever. That time it was pretty decent coverage by Brothers.
2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line. Logan.
Oh, and a good defensive play that time by Richard Brothers. Look how he...
The 40-yard line. Logan.
Oh, and a good defensive play that time by Richard Brothers. Look how he forced on the run. Came up and made that play. So Richard Brothers saving himself on the outside. Meanwhile, on the inside, 2-on-1. Or 2-on-1.5. The Fridge just getting in his work. Not a lot of tackles. Hasn't been in on a lot of plays.
Out of there now, the Bears nickel scheme of things.
He does draw a crowd, doesn't he?
3rd and 9 from the 40-yard line. Stout flings it in the direction of Hampton, who can't make the catch. And so Miami bogs down after an initial first down on this drive. 3:34 to go in the third. Don Shula, 20th season at Miami, 27 overall. Of course, he coached the Colts before his tenure with the Dolphins. Mark Green is back to receive as Reggie Roby will do the punting from his own half of the field. A high, wobbly kick that takes a good Miami bounce initially and then parallels the 10-yard line. And Chicago takes over deep in its own territory. Well, a reminder that Sunday on Schlitz Malt Liquor Professional Boxing, the IBF lightweight champion Pernell Whitaker seeks to avenge the only loss of his pro career. He'll meet Jose Luis Ramirez in a long-awaited rematch. Dan Deerdorf will be there in Norfolk, Virginia. He'll be the guy saying, "That's right, Alex."
Alex Swallow will be there as well. And then
on your way to Minnesota,
we'll follow that up with the International Race of Champions. 5 o'clock Eastern. All of that this coming Sunday.
Very active little camper this weekend.
That's right. Boxing Sunday, football Monday.
And you're doing the race as well, you know. From the 11-yard line, Mark Green takes it out to the 16 for a gain of 5 with 3 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the third quarter. And Jim Harbaugh still at the helm for the Bears.
One thing about working with Alex, though, Al, he's there for every fight.
Yeah, all 93 seconds. Yeah, I heard you ragging on me last week. You saying I'm real tired after doing 8 baseball games. Yeah, we forgot to mention 3 of them went into extra innings.
Oh, Al, your blood pressure.
Yeah, boy.
Keep track of it now. You don't lash out at me so. No.
Second, Frank.
I'm going to hit you with a pineapple in a moment there.
2nd and 5. And a first down for Mark Green as he takes the ball out to the 23-yard line. Again, Mark Green, one of those trying to win a job out of the University of Notre Dame, last year's national champions.
What do you think with the roster with the Bears be keeping? 5 backs? Brad Muster, Anderson, of course, and Sanders. Yep. And Suey maybe on the bubble with youngsters coming on. Now in his 10th year, 10 years for running back.
I know one thing for sure. A lot of these backs that don't make the Bears squad are going to be playing for someone else in this league.
Here comes Green again behind a block from Stewart. And he's out to the 25-yard line. The competition could boil down to the two fellas running out of the backfield right there. 39 Stewart trying to lay down a block for the 31 Green.
You touched on something, Dan. There are a lot of scouts, a lot of football people watching both these teams, particularly the Bears. You mentioned something about the depth of this team and the talent. They've had great drafts over the years, and there's some 5th-round picks, some 7th-round picks that are obviously going to have to go. And there are teams that can use a lot of these players, and those people are looking on and watching tonight. Some of them even here.
2nd and 8 from the 25-yard line. And Harbaugh has it dropped by Stewart, cutting over the middle, couldn't hang on. 3rd down. Third and quarterback competition going on in Chicago. You know, it's funny. It's funny though, and you've seen it through the years, guys. A quarterback controversy can wreck a team, but the way Ditka handles it and the Bears handle it, that's not remotely the case in Chicago.
He doesn't treat it like a controversy. But I'll tell you what else is very interesting here is Mike Ditka going to be willing to go into the season with all 3 of these quarterbacks. I mean, there's a real possibility he may decide to only keep 2 and maybe move one of the 3.
3rd down and 8. Harbaugh throws. It's caught by Kozlowski. Nice spin move to break a tackle. And out of bounds finally at about the 45-yard line of 1st down.
Yeah, let's go back to that for a minute if we could. You know, it is a luxury in this league to carry 3 quarterbacks on your roster. And if Mike Ditka makes a decision that it's either Harbaugh, McMahon, or Tomczak, obviously the 3rd guy in this mix is a very marketable commodity. Maybe the most least marketable of all might be Jim McMahon because of his age, his injury record, and his contract. So it's very interesting to see what happens depending upon whom ends up being the starter here.
1st down at the 45-yard line. The reverse, Freddie Wagan, rookie out of Auburn, fumbles out of bounds after a good gain. So Wagan, who played, we last saw him in the Sugar Bowl last year against Florida State. He, early in his collegiate career, played with Bo Jackson. On the reverse here.
He gave Auburn that great receiving tandem, Lawyer Tillman, the other wide receiver, and just a well-executed reverse that time.
As he went as a 1, Tillman, and Wagan went as a 12th-round draft pick. The one, of course, is missing. We also saw in that Sugar Bowl was Sammy Smith. He showed incredible flashes of unbelievable talent. And, of course, he is a holdout for the Dolphins. They'd love to have him in here.
Harbaugh throwing on 1st down. Under pressure from the backside. Gets it off to Stewart. Another former Auburn Tiger inside the 30. And Stewart takes it down to the 20-yard line. Stopped by Gage. And that figures to be the final play of the 3rd quarter. A 21-yard pickup.
Boy, a very, very late blitz that time by the Dolphins. Ernest Gibson right there, number 42, came on the blitz from the far side of the field, but he showed it and came from about 25 yards away. Gave Harbaugh a lot of time to stand in there, just move a little to his right and get rid of the ball to Stewart, who again shows some nice open field running skills, Frank. Nice moves.
Had a little one-man screen in front of it, gets good yardage and gets another Bear 1st down.
21-6 Chicago. Back we come after this from our ABC station 10-3.
Tomorrow,
Rosebud.
meet Dan's dad, the daughter I never had.
Yeah, well, Ed, you would have died in labor.
Roseanne. Dan, Jamie Lee Curtis and Richard Lewis have some big questions.
Do we really want to know what's in head cheese?
Why do people look like their dogs? Who changes?
Anything But Love returns right after Roseanne. Tomorrow.
The assignment.
He's all yours. I think you're going to prison, Walter. You don't know where I'm going.
The deception.
I lost my package. A prisoner I was bringing back from Germany.
The conspiracy.
Gallagher knows too much. He has to be eliminated. This is insane.
You know what you got yourself into. The third team's playing with bigger hitters.
Be looking for a patient. Everybody pays me.
Gene Hackman. The Package. Rated R. Starts Friday, August 25th at theaters everywhere.
Ready
for a weather update? Pontiac heat is on. How hot is Pontiac? They're outselling Nissan, Honda, and Toyota. They're number 3 going for number 1. And during excitement countdown, there's $200 million in factory cashback available on new Pontiacs now in dealer stock. Like up to $1,850 cashback on Grand Prix and Grand Am for qualified first-time buyers. Count down the excitement and feel the Pontiac heat now.
I'm Mark Stevens. Coming up after the game, 3 Giants and their holdouts, including Phil Simms. We'll hear from him, plus Yankee highlights. That's after the game, here on Eyewitness News on Channel 7.
Channel 7, WABC-TV, New York.
So we start the 4th quarter at Miami. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Deerdorf. Chicago has the ball first and 10 just inside the Miami 20-yard line. And it's Stewart taking it down to the 14-yard line. Taylor for a gain of 6. Well, guys, beginning of the season upcoming. Look into your crystal ball. What do you see?
Okay.
I see Washington, the Giants, September the 11th, and an hour special leading into that is going to be very interesting as we look back on the 19 years of Monday Night Football, all the wild things that happened, all the incredible games, some of the records that were broken. It'll be fun.
And a great schedule coming up.
My crystal ball would have to include the Chicago Bears. Just clearly, I think, talent-wise, a team that just can't do any worse than be in the playoffs. And it's just a question, can they win enough games to get them to the Super Bowl?
And the team will see the second week, Dan, Buffalo.
Well, I think Buffalo is the cream of the AFC along with Cincinnati and Houston. I think you have to look at those 3 teams as the top of flight over in the AFC. Here in the NFC, a lot of people think the Rams are going to have a big year. The Bears, the Vikings in the middle. It's really the NFC East, a conference that almost guaranteed 2, sometimes 3 playoff teams that has really fallen off a little bit. And in that conference, I don't know from what we saw in Canton, Frank, that the Washington Redskins might not be the best looking team in the East.
I'm not harping on it, Al, but you were away. I don't know whether you saw it, but Gerald Riggs makes a different football team. Been around a while, but all the yardage he put together, over 6,000 yards or something down with Atlanta, and he's playing behind a different ball club, and he's happy to be there, and he could go back to the Joe Gibbs type of offense, and they could very well put it all back together again.
And a spirited quarterback competition there as well, with Mark Rippon and Humphreys has looked so good in preseason, and of course when Doug Williams gets healthy, a lot of depth at that spot. And it'll be a real good race, obviously, in the NFC East.
And watch out with the Cowboys. They're going to knock a few people off.
We have an injured player down on the field, Greg Ross of the Miami Dolphins, being helped to the sideline. I think we've got a shot. There you see him there to the left of the screen. Boy, you see that leg getting caught, the right leg getting caught underneath. The pile falls on him, and
you hate to see it.
We hope that Mr. Ross, who's just now getting there, always a good sign when you see that they can put some weight on it as they walk off. Hope Greg Ross is all right.
So the rookie from Memphis State assisted to the sideline. Bears now ready from the 14-yard line on 2nd down and 5. This drive began back at the Chicago 11-yard line. And moving through the middle, Brian Bureau, the rookie out of Utah, taking it down to the 4-yard line.
It's not fair to draw this conclusion just off of watching Miami in this one game. But one thing is obvious, that without Brown and Offerdahl in the middle, Miami is not going to have much of a chance of stopping an inside running attack. Of course, that's true of any team in the league. Take their 2 starting inside linebackers, remove them from the mix, and you're going to have real problems.
And more than that, as we look at what they can do to improve, they could not beat one of their Eastern Division members of the AFC. And in 2 years, they've only won twice out of 16 games in the AFC East.
That's extraordinary. 2-14. And that is a touchdown, and the Chicago Bears just continue to dominate this game.
Brian Bureau just pushing the pile. And you talk about a guy who's a long shot to make a team. Again, he's a fellow who is trying to maybe win a job with another team with an impressive night, because looking at the Bears running backs and what they have and what they're looking at, he'd rank about 8th at this point. But impressive here, pushing the pile and getting in for the score.
Big man, 235-pounder, the rookie out of Utah.
And you're right, the surge. The big man just takes the pile in. Kurt Becker up front with a good block, number 79. But again, it's the offensive line of Chicago just dominating, moving everything out of their way.
Butler's extra point is good, and we've played 1:23 in the fourth quarter, and Chicago now on top by 22.
Here's the leader in compact trucks, Ford Ranger, with big advantages that Chevy and Toyota don't have. Go with the leader. Advantages like four-wheel drive at the touch of a button. Only Ranger 4x4 has it. Standard. Go with the leader. And Ranger beats Chevy S10 in standard horsepower and torque. It's today's best-selling compact truck. Go with the leader. Ford trucks.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings during the official Ford clearance.
I never understood some of these computer companies. You call in their service people and they give you an attitude. If I had even a couple of pieces of somebody else's equipment anywhere in my organization, they acted like I made a terrible mistake. The problem always seemed to be in the other guy's equipment. But that's all history now. I just signed a new agreement with IBM. They've taken full responsibility for servicing all my computer equipment, no matter whose name is on it.
When does a good quarterback make a great receiver? When someone who's been drinking passes him their car keys. Nice pass. If you've been drinking, pass your car keys to someone who hasn't.
Know when to say when. A message from Anheuser-Busch.
Power equals work divided by time equals the Reebok cross-training system equals the physics behind the physiques equals Reebok.
Miami, Florida, Joe Robbie Stadium. This structure, interestingly, opened 2 years ago this week, and these same two teams were here on the inaugural night, Chicago and Miami. For so many years, the Dolphins played at the Orange Bowl, the venerable Orange Bowl, and then Joe Robbie went out and decided to build himself his own stadium. And surprised most of the people in this area by accomplishing it. Mark Logan brings it out to the 30-yard line. The Dolphins take possession there with 13:27 to play in the fourth quarter.
Little signing news. The Giants brought their #1 draft pick, offensive lineman Brian Williams, into the fold earlier today. Terry Kennard, their safety, also signed. And of course, Phil Simms, you probably heard the quarterback, has signed an extension of his contract. Takes him up to $4.2 million for these next 3 years. Right up there with the big ones. This Giants update was brought to you by number 16.
Down on first down from the 32-yard line. Throws it over the middle, and it's caught by Hampton. Close to a first down.
Give me a card update.
A card update.
They left. They're gone.
Well, how about a baseball card update? We'll get to that in a moment. First, the American League, Baltimore getting 3 in the 10th. Craig Worthington hits a 3-run homer. They lead Detroit 4-1. Baltimore beginning the night 2.5 in front of Toronto, Boston, and Milwaukee. Blue Jays leading. Brewers lead the Yankees in the 7th. Kansas City leads the White Sox, and Minnesota and California later. Oakland night off. National League in a moment. First down from the 42-yard line is Mark Logan. You do that well. Slithers his way out to the 48. Cardinals in baseball. First game beat Atlanta 7-4. Lead the second game 2-0 in the second. Doug Drabeck picks up the victory for Pittsburgh over Montreal. The Cubs are off tonight. Thus, Montreal now trails by 3. Mets are 3.5 back. Cardinals were 6.5 back of Chicago at the start of play tonight. Second down and 4. Miami from the 48-yard line as Stout steps away from pressure and then throws to Logan, who is stopped shy of the 50-yard line. They'll spot it at the 49 and make it 3rd down and 3. Number 98 for the Bears, Heitchen on the tackle.
I guess Cliff Stout is having a pretty decent night tonight. A couple of very sharp passes, one for the long gainer, the next one for the touchdown to Schwades. But boy, he's just the perfect quarterback that fits the Don Shula system. A veteran, big, tall, smart, and has a handicap around 6 or 7.
Yeah, very important.
Fits the Don Strock mold all the way down the line.
And Marino will love it. Somebody to play with. Yeah. He gives away about 7 strokes to Strock, though, as Farrell Edmonds makes the catch for a first down.
And you'd like to get about 7 strokes a game to that guy, Farrell Edmonds. What a talent. What a talent. To think that he was a 3rd-round draft choice. With that kind of size, that kind of speed.
We saw him last year, Dan. Remember, Al was away on holiday, and we caught him in his first game as a rookie. Rambled, what, 50, 60 yards for a touchdown?
And ran away from the defensive back.
What was the score of that game, Dan?
Who did they play is a better question.
Yeah. At the 44-yard line. Stout takes it to the 25, and it's Brown again, and he is tackled at the 21-yard line. Well, with Mark Clayton not in camp, it's given Brown a chance to show what he can do, and the rookie out of Miami trying to win a job. We mentioned their receivers, for the most part, 5'9" and 5'10", and Brown gives them some size at 6'3".
Of course, coming from Miami, he has great experience in the passing game, and of course one of the coaching changes as we watch him once again the Miami made was David Shula, Don's son, is gone with Jimmy Johnson to Dallas, and Gary Stevens from the University of Miami, the offensive coordinator, is now with the Dolphins.
Brown with 4 catches, and in the corner of the end zone, make it 5 for the touchdown.
And we presume Gary Stevens probably called that play for the Dolphins. And his pupil of the last couple of years gets it in for 6. Interesting, Gary Stevens is from John Carroll College, as is Don Shula.
Again, it's Cliff Stout enjoying some good protection up front. Now, this is just, you give any quarterback in this league that much time, he's going to find someone, and Andre Brown had the wherewithal to get open in the corner of the end zone, and for an undrafted rookie, a pretty impressive showing here late against the Bears.
5 catches for 128 yards. Stojanovic, this time the snap is good. Stout puts it down, and Stojanovic's kick is good. So it was a nightmarish first half. Nothing good happened for Miami, but some rays of hope here in the second half, especially emanating from this man.
Little defensive mistake. Brown wide open in the end zone. We'll be back.
I've made up my mind. I'm going to do it. Why shouldn't I? I'm the one who has to look at myself in the mirror every morning. So before I lose another hair, I'm going to the doctor. I know doctors have treatment programs that are proven to work. More guys are trying them every day. I'm not bad now, but I wouldn't mind looking better.
Your doctor can really do something about hair loss. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings during the official Ford clearance.
Excuse me. Are those Bugle Boy jeans that you're wearing?
Oh, yes. They are Bugle Boy jeans.
Thank you.
Next Monday night will be in Minneapolis, where the Washington Redskins take on the Minnesota Vikings at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and the Redskins will be featured in our regular season opener as well at home on the night of Monday, September 11th against the New York Giants.
Have you told Linda that we'll also be there on Christmas night?
Not yet. Yeah.
You have now.
Minnesota, Christmas night, the season ending on the 25th of December this year, with Cincinnati at Minnesota. Stewart runs back the kick. And takes it back out to the 30-yard line for the Bears. Well, we were talking about Gary Stevens coming over from the University of Miami, coming up the freeway to take over here as the quarterback coach.
9 years at Miami. Some great years. And some great quarterbacks. Oh. Benny Testaverde. Kelly. Recently, Steve Walt. Kelly. Some guy named Kozar. He didn't do badly, did he, in his re-upping year?
On the subject of quarterbacks, Brent Snyder becomes Bear quarterback number 4 as he takes over at the 31-yard line. He's a rookie out of Utah State. And Brian Taylor picks up about 3. And again, it's stretching it to say Snyder is fighting for a job with Chicago. But again, if he can look impressive, he might wind up someplace else.
And who knows? What if he shows enough? What if he does the types of things that Mike Ditka says, here's a guy that could play quarterback for this team in the future? Maybe he's the kind of guy that you take a chance to make him your 3rd guy.
Or if you have an injury as well, and you think about what you have to do in that regard. Well, meanwhile, all of the Chicago quarterbacks to this point tonight have looked very good. Each has led the team on at least 1 touchdown drive, a 2nd down and 7 from the 34-yard line. Snyder gets good protection, throws one over the middle, and it's picked off at the 45-yard line. Intercepted by African Grant. And Miami has the football back. African Grant sounds like a congressional dispensation. Trying to win a job in the Miami secondary.
And that's the way you go about it. That was a ball from Snyder that didn't seem to have a lot on it. He really did waffle over the linebackers in trying to hit Mike Seller, who you never know. Now, maybe it's a case of Seller not completing his route. Seller had made no attempt to stop and turn and come back to the quarterback, which is something a receiver just has to do.
I think that's the discussion on the sideline right at the moment between Snyder.
Meanwhile, Scott Secules comes in to quarterback the Dolphins. He's the 8th quarterback in the game, 4 for each team. And his first pass is complete to Gerald White in his 2nd year out of Michigan. White making the catch for a pickup of about 6.
Alan, Dan, I know you both remember Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, telling us about this young man. Personally scouted him. And he was so high on him when we had the opportunity to talk to him, and all of a sudden he was made available and wasn't protected by Dallas, and quite naturally so with the talent that they have, and here he is.
You might say he was an expendable quarterback at Dallas, especially under the current circumstances. At the 43-yard line. On 2nd down, little slant, that's caught for a first down by Glenn Holt, rookie out of Western Kentucky, taking it to the 30-yard line. So the reserves and the guys looking for jobs providing the excitement for the Dolphins tonight with 8.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Jim Jensen, Mr. Versatility.
There is nothing that he cannot do. Special teams where he got his start, but he'll run it. 3rd down situations, but his real specialty is a receiver. I've got a number for you. Keep in mind after this play.
On 1st and 10, some missed timing there as Holt had broken off the pattern, and Secules throws it 20 yards beyond him.
Jensen, you see him there talking to Dan Marino. Last year, caught the ball on 19 3rd down situations and converted 19 times, converted 16 of those into first downs. Now that's a player who knows how to get the football where he is on the field. And of course, it also shows that his quarterback has a tremendous amount of confidence in him. Backup quarterback, special teamer, he does it all.
Overall in the year, 58 receptions. And, you know, I was looking over your shoulder, reading that note, and I wanted to get it out, and you wouldn't let me. You had your hand around my throat.
That's right. It's just like taking a test, Frank.
But I'll tell you, the Cards signed their #1 pick. One of them, that is. They signed offensive lineman Joe Wolf from the BC.
Right. 4 years, $2 million.
In stereo.
It's amazing.
And as I mentioned, Brian Williams, offensive lineman for the Giants, also signed.
3rd down and 4. Out of the shotgun, the Dolphins from the 24-yard line. They trail by 15. Sequels throws it inside the 20 for a first down to the 9-yard line to Tom Brown.
And I think we're going to have an injury down there. It looks like Alex Armenteros really got a burner there. He's holding that right arm, and that's either a shoulder problem, a pinched nerve, or something. Alex out of Bethune-Cookman, a free agent. And he's being attended to now by the Bear trainers. You know, we're talking about offensive linemen. A couple of them signed today. I'm one of those willing and waiting to see what the numbers are for one Mr. Tony Mandarich. What kind of buckos he signs for as he attempts to come to terms with the Green Bay Packers. He's asked for Troy Aikman-like money, I guess. He started off at $2 million a year, and I saw a report where he's dropped that down to where he said he's willing to take $1.5 million or $1.6 million, I guess.
There are a few agents as well with some high draft choices waiting to see what Mr. Mandarich might or might not get.
Well, the domino theory, as an agent, it's become very vogue not to sign your man until the player above you signs, so you can see where you fit into the puzzle.
And leading more and more towards rookie wage scale.
Well, not by the agent's choice.
Well, absolutely not.
First and goal from the 9. A one-handed catch and then moving into the end zone for the touchdown is White.
Boy, that's nice. That's nice. Gerald White. Where's he from, Al?
Someplace around Ann Arbor, they tell me. Ypsilanti.
Gerald White making a nice move to the end zone. That's how you get noticed, isn't it, Frank?
Indeed it is. Let's take a look again. Exactly what he had to do from a good program. Bo Schembechler, hopefully looking on. Proud of his young man. Good effort.
Got the ball across the plane.
Makes it.
Stoyanovic's extra point is good. 6.5 minutes to play. It was 21-0 at the half. But the Dolphins providing most of the excitement in the second half. White scores here, and it's now Chicago 28 and Miami 20.
If this was a regular season game, you'd be moaning that missed extra point.
Over its life, a Motorcraft battery delivers enough energy to light up a small park, like Candlestick Park. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford. A Motorcraft spark plug has to fire 500 times a minute. Over its life, that's a spark 5 miles long. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
When you buy a Supercolor TV antenna from Radio Shack for just $24.88, you'll get terrific reception instead of interception. It's easy to install, and the Supercolor computer-designed antenna gives you pictures and sound so real.
Hey, Starbuck, what do we do now?
That's right, 16 wide post on one. It could make all the difference in the game.
Come on. There's a man open. And touchdown!
The Supercolor TV antenna, just $24.88, only at Radio Shack, the technology store.
Starbuck called the perfect play.
Apple, lemon, blueberry, boysenberry, rhubarb, cherry.
What's one before cherry?
Rhubarb. Rhubarb.
It's a plant. What's a rhubarb?
A vegetable. It's about yay long.
We're out of rhubarb.
He's in for a rude awakening. Tomorrow, our guest, Cheech Marin, also film director Brian De Palma, and then later in the week, Elton John on Good Morning America.
There aren't many tight ends that have ever had a set of guns like James Thornton, the tight end of the Chicago Bears. Now, those are some manly cannons right there.
Here's a man who missed his calling. He should be in Petaluma for the World Wrist Wrestling Championship.
6'2", 242, and about 40 pounds of that is in each arm.
Stoyanovic's kick is taken in the end zone and downed there. Green telling Taylor to stay put.
Where's Petaluma?
You'll find out, pal. You're going to be assigned to that the next time we get the rights to it.
We'll probably have a fight there sooner or later.
No question.
Well, you've been to some of the exotic spots.
Well, Chicago, Tom Zach, 2 touchdown drives tonight. Took 14 snaps, 7 out of 8. McMahon let him do a touchdown. So did Harbaugh. And the battle continues for number 1.
Well, those are very impressive numbers.
Brent Snyder's 1 for 1. Picked out the wrong colors there.
Yeah.
Snyder, the quarterback, from the 20-yard line. 6:23 to play in the game. And straight ahead goes Brian Taylor, rookie out of Oregon State.
The way Miami plays defense with that yard off the line of scrimmage, I can't say that I'm a real big fan of that. It's just, I don't know. I more or less subscribe to the theory that get across the line of scrimmage, disrupt things, make things happen, knock people down. The read and flow doesn't really work all that well in the National Football League.
Second and 3 from the 27-yard line. Keep it on the ground, trying to chew up the clock, and Byron Sanders gets taken down.
E.J. Jr.
E.J. Jr., who became a free agent unprotected by Phoenix. Sanders is the brother of the Heisman Trophy winner, Barry Sanders.
And Jr., the former Pro Bowler.
Did that from where? Middle linebacker, though, didn't he, Dan? They moved him to the outside when they went 3-4 out with the Cardinals, and he just never could find a home out there.
One of the most amazing things about E.J. Jr. is I remember when he was a rookie, we had Rookie Show, and as part of Rookie Show, they wheeled out a grand piano, and E.J. Jr. sat down and played a concerto of Beethoven's. He is concert quality pianist. He's phenomenal.
And then he ate it. On third down, fumble recovered by Sanders, but short of the first down at the 25-yard line, and Miami will get the ball back. Byron Sanders, he played his football at Northwestern. Of course, his brother winning the Heisman at Stillwater.
Well, this is what Sanders did with great regularity at Northwestern, carry out of the I formation. And that was a pitch that just was right there. That's just a case of him taking his eyes off the ball. And, of course, he's been sitting for a long time.
Not a bad year for the Sanders family, was it?
No.
He was a 1,000-yard rusher himself at Northwestern. That's the Heisman Award winner, Barry Sanders.
He also has...
He's still waiting out Detroit, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
As a number 1 pick.
And Byron has just about as slim a chance as a back could have of making the Bears squad. He really is one of those guys that's trying to catch the eye of a coach on another club.
The Dolphins took that last time out to preserve some time with 4:43 to play. Chicago leading 28-20. And the rookie Kent Sullivan to punt. And it's a low kick. Takes a Chicago bounce, fielded at the 34-yard line. Starr. And he brings it back out to the 46.
Yeah, they're looking for another return man here in Miami, and they were going to take a long look at Eric Starr, and he had some problems if you weren't with us in the first quarter. He bobbled one, got a break on that because there was a penalty. Messed up the second one and let it bound freely to the 10, 11-yard line when he could have fielded it. But they feel he's a fine run-back man who could make a ball club.
I guess it's still going to be Secules at quarterback. How long today did we spend trying to figure out how to pronounce his name?
Still are. From the 46-yard line. Secules trying to make something out of nothing. Tries to get it into the hands of Jason Cooper. Incomplete. Covered by LaSalle Harper, rookie out of Arkansas.
We called Secules when he was with Dallas, but then the Dolphin PR organization today told us that he preferred to be called Secules.
Well, that was in the AM.
And then, yes, and then right before kickoff tonight, we were informed that Secules will do. So
We're watching Scott.
This Scott is probably fine.
And Scotty drops back to pass on second down and 10. Caught over the middle by Brown, and he takes the ball into Chicago territory, taking it to the 47-yard line, comes up about 3 yards short of the first down.
I've been commenting on the Dolphin defensive line, the way they have lined up a yard or so off the line of scrimmage. When they come up to the line of scrimmage now, the Dolphins, notice where the Bears are. They'll be right there crowding every inch of that football they can.
Well, something tells me that Bear philosophy would equate that you've yielded that yard of the football field without a struggle. And that somehow is contrary to everything Chicago Bears, look at that, stand for.
Third and a short 4, and Seacools has it knocked down. He intended it for Brown, and it's knocked down by Lorenzo Lynch. Batting it incomplete.
The crowd's moaning and groaning, thinking that Lynch was all over the receiver. Let's take a look at it from this end. Yeah, that's close. He put that right arm across the back. Got away with it that time. More often than not, though, that'll bring a flag.
And the Dolphins going for it on 4th down and a short 4 from the 47-yard line. Seacools over the middle, caught by Brown, and his forward progress takes him to the 42, and that's a first down. With the clock running and 3:15 to play in the 4th quarter.
Frankly, this is a point in time. If this was a game that mattered who won or who lost, you'd think the Dolphins would be in their hurry-up offense, needing 2 scores to take the lead.
Miami has used one of its timeouts. Dolphins have 2 remaining. They have a first down at the 42-yard line. Seacools goes to the outside. Catch is made by Starr. And Starr is able to get out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
Given the people that are in there for Miami and the length of time they've been in training camp, they probably haven't even worked on it, wouldn't you say, Dan? They haven't got around to that yet.
That's a possibility that they haven't spent a lot of time, and especially with this quarterback, with Seacools at quarterback, working on the 2-minute offense. Keep in mind, for both of these clubs, this is their first preseason game.
2nd and 6 at the 38-yard line.
Look out.
Pressure, and Seacools sacked back at the 47-yard line.
And there's John Roper. There's our number 2 draft choice from Texas A&M. This is a ball player that Mike Singletary said is half Otis Wilson, half Wilber Marshall, and that's just a good upfield rush. Look for him to be playing out of the 2-point stance on running downs, but then be used much the same way Otis Wilson was used in passing situations, down in a 3-point stance, more or less playing the conventional defensive end. And number 55, John Roper, looking very much like the old 55 Otis Wilson.
3rd and 15 from the Chicago 47-yard line, going too deep. The pass intended for Deval Glover, a rookie out of Syracuse. So with 2:10 to play, it's 4th down and 15.
The crowd chanting, go, go. I don't think there's much question about that.
Cliff Stout, you saw on the sidelines, he's signaling the plays in. Please.
4th down, 15 at the 47-yard line. 4 wide receivers for the Dolphins. You see Brown in the block. Seacools steps away and then is fortunate it wasn't intercepted. Alex Armenteros, who was shaken up on the last series, you'll recall he had to be assisted from the field, had it in his hands and couldn't hold on.
Boy, that one hit him right between the number 3 and the number 8.
Now, for a rookie trying to make a ball club, you can You just know how disappointed he was. He'll be thinking about that for a long time to come. An interception against the Dolphins. Look where that hits him. Right there. And even if he didn't make the ball club, he would have a great memory.
So the Bears now 4 seconds away from the 2-minute warning, have the football at their own 47-yard line. The rookie Brent Snyder finishing up for Chicago, their fourth quarterback of the night. And Garrett Limbrick, rookie out of Oklahoma State, picks up a couple, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. William Perry and the Chicago Bears leading with 2 minutes to play, 28-20.
Driven man.
We all got weapons. Anybody can blow anybody away.
An outraged witness.
This kind of thing can cause a major international incident. Are you aware of that?
I told them, and they don't care. Somebody stumbles, they don't mean to shoot you. You could get killed real easy. If I was them, I'd be looking for a little payback.
Michael J. Fox, Sean Penn, Casualties of War, rated R. Starts Friday at select theaters.
Retailers like me are doing our part to help fight muscular dystrophy. And you can too. With every Budweiser or Bud Light you buy through Labor Day, you'll help make a contribution. So come on, join the team.
Here's today's leader in big pickups, Ford. Ford leads in the important advantages that Chevy can't talk about. Go with the leader. Ford leads Chevy with a longer, wider, deeper box that carries more maximum payload than Chevy. Go with the leader. This Ford costs $715 less than a comparably equipped Chevy, and that's leadership in solid value. Go with the leader. Ford Trucks.
See your dealer now for special savings during the official Ford clearance.
1:58 to play in Miami. The Chicago Bears have the football at the Dolphin 49-yard line. Mike Singletary.
How is it that some teams go decades without being able to get a linebacker to the Pro Bowl, and the Bears have this guy? They had Butkus, Wilbur Marshall, Otis Wilson.
Remember Bill George?
Bill George.
A plethora of riches.
It's almost not fair.
2nd and 6 from the 49-yard line. And this is Taylor for a gain of a couple. Dolphins can stop the clock twice, and they elect to take one of their 2 remaining timeouts right here.
Mike Singletary has reached that point in time where really starting to think about himself in terms of how he's going to be viewed by football historians as one of the great middle linebackers that ever played. He'd like me to rephrase that and say the greatest middle linebacker that ever played.
The Chicago Bears, their first 8 regular season games. We mentioned Cincinnati to the Super Bowl last year. Minnesota will be their prime competition in their own division. They've got Philadelphia on Monday, October 2nd. We'll be there for that. They play Houston. They go to Cleveland on Monday, October 23rd. As you can see, 6 of their first 8 games against playoff teams, quite in contrast to the Dolphins. The one good thing in terms of a Miami schedule is that when you finish last, you play a last-place schedule.
And Ditka talking last night about the improvement within his central division of the NFC that they have dominated, except with the immersion, of course, of Minnesota the past couple of years.
After the timeout on 3rd and 4, the catch is made for a first down by Limbrick. And Chicago will now be able to run the clock out, should they so elect, with Miami having only 1 timeout left, but there's a penalty marker down back at the 39-yard line.
There's Tom Thayer on the sideline, the right guard of the Chicago Bears, who, along with Mike Tomczak, own a restaurant in Joliet, Illinois. T&T's.
I said, is it Thayer or Tomczak? He said, oh, don't mix that up. Yeah, definitely Thayer and Tomczak.
We asked Mike Tomczak, what kind of cuisine do we have at this fine dining establishment? And he He referred to it as a blue-collar Ditka's, whatever that means. Ditka's, of course, Mike Ditka's highly successful restaurant downtown Chicago.
Speaking of highly successful restaurateurs, I have one on my right here. You could give him a little advice.
Al's on your left. Oh, that's me, your son. Yes. Business is fine, but T&T's, I kind of like that.
Can we get a reservation at your joint?
Don't yet. Call a week in advance. All right.
Just to make sure you're open, right?
Doesn't every bear open a restaurant?
Seems that way. One time or another. More than a couple have closed them recently, too, I think.
Offensive pass interference was the call. Thus, it's 3rd and 14. And this is Limbrick, the Oklahoma State rookie, carrying the football. And he takes it to about the 41-yard line.
Well, a test was passed by Dent tonight. Really his first game condition action since he broke his leg last year. And what a big, big plus for the Chicago Bears. When Richard Dent is in high gear, I don't know that there's a better pass rusher in the game of football.
He recently came out to our ABC affiliates. We had a chance to talk with him out there. Very quiet-spoken, very low-key.
They're the 2 Mater D's, by the way, right there.
Right. A blue-collar Ditka's, huh?
Certainly going over chili recipes, I would imagine.
Not talking about escargot. Limbrick picks up 3 to the 39-yard line. So the Bears come down to Miami. And Mike Ditka has to be very happy the way things have gone. I don't know that any more questions have been answered in terms of the quarterback situation, but all 3 played admirably, very capably tonight.
And, of course, he's looking forward to getting his 2 number 1 draft picks in. Trace Armstrong, the defensive lineman from Florida, who's still holding out. Wan'L Wolford, the holdout cornerback from Clemson, and Mike Ditka feels that they both can play. Perhaps both can start for the Bears, so they'll be that much better when they do come in.
2nd and 7 from the 39-yard line on what should be the final play of the game. And Taylor breaks the tackle and makes the final play of the game an exciting one as he takes it down to the
Taylor's
17.
Son. Brian Taylor has had himself some ball game here tonight. And you're right, the son of Rosie Taylor. And again, as Al said, a very, very impressive outing by the Chicago Bears.
Again, their first unit, their second unit, doing it in total command in the first half, which Chicago went off the field leading 21-0. Ditka and Shula.
One Hall of Famer on the left, another one on the right heading there.
And so Mike and the Bears head back to Chicago. Shula takes his Dolphins up to Jacksonville this weekend to meet the Houston Oilers, and the Bears win the preseason opener for both teams at Joe Robbie Stadium. The final score, 28-20.
And Deerdorf's off to Norfolk.
Yep, that's right. And then we'll see you in Minneapolis next Monday.
Double duty.
Meanwhile, Frank's off to Saratoga because Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, live coverage of the Travers Stakes. Belmont winner Easy Goer will be the favorite in the 120th running of this Midsummer Classic, the oldest horse race in America. Plus, top male and female divers compete for national honors in the U.S. Outdoor Diving Championships. You'll also see a feature, Tour de France winner Greg LeMond. Next week, in another preseason edition of ABC's Monday Night Football, the Washington Redskins take on the Minnesota Vikings at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The action comes your way live next Monday at 8 Eastern Time. Now, stay tuned for ABC News Nightline, following your late local news over most of these ABC stations.
ABC's NFL Monday Night Football preseason special, the Chicago Bears versus the Miami Dolphins, has been brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Bugle Boy. In jeans and casual fashions, Bugle Boy's leading the charge. By Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by the Upjohn Company. If you're concerned about hair loss, see your doctor. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
This is ABC.